Introducing Kannagi Minato, the solitary nerd whose life reads like a tragicomedy. This poor soul is absolutely obsessed with the legendary hunters who valiantly defended humanity a century ago. With dreams bigger than his bookish frame, Minato yearns to follow in their heroic footsteps. But alas, the universe, with its wicked sense of humor, has thwarted him not once, not twice, but thrice in his attempts to pass the hunter's exam. And as if failing miserably wasn't enough, he's the favorite punching bag of bullies who seem to have made it their life's mission to remind him of his failures daily. One fateful day, his charming tormentors decide to up their game. They convince our gullible hero that they've pulled some strings to secure his re-examination. Lead him to the mausoleums of the very hunters he idolizes. Minato, ever the idealistic fool, falls for it, hook, line, and sinker. Determined to stop them from defiling the sacred ground, Minato confronts his bullies. But surprise, surprise, things don't go well for him. Instead of a heroic showdown, he gets a brutal beatdown, the kind that's usually reserved for the final scenes of tragic movies. As he lies there, tasting defeat and a bit of his own blood, his so-called friends top off their betrayal by framing him for grave robbery. Oh, and just to make sure he gets the full tragic hero treatment, they dump his body in a lake. Cue the dramatic turn of events. Just when Minato is about to embrace his watery grave, the spirits of the legendary hunters appear. Yep, the very legends he worshipped are now hovering around him like an ethereal Avengers squad. They offer him a sliver of hope, absorb one of their souls for power and a chance at life. But in a twist that could only happen to Minato, our bumbling protagonist manages to absorb all 106 souls instead, because why settle for one when you can have them all, right? At the beginning of this epic saga, we're introduced to the ominous Tower of Malevolence, or as it's more dramatically dubbed, the Harbinger of Disaster. One day, out of the blue, this towering menace sprouted up all over the world like unwelcome weeds in a garden. From its dark depths, hordes of terrifying monsters spilled out, pushing humanity to the very edge of annihilation. Things were looking grim, like a bad end-of-the-world movie, until the first generation of awakeners, known as the Founders, burst onto the scene. These heroic figures took the monsters down a peg or two, ultimately toppling the tower and clinching humanity's first victory against these otherworldly invaders. The Founders were celebrated as legends, their feats immortalized in the grand mausoleum of the Founders. Fast forward a century and we meet our protagonist, Kannagi Minato, a young man with stars in his eyes and a head full of dreams. I enjoy reading books of legends in the library, Minato muses. With just a mere wooden stick from a tree branch, the great swordsman managed to cut down a 10,000 strong army. The wizard, with the wisdom of true magic, could chant any spell without incantation. In the current era, these are regarded as mere legends or fairy tales of awakeners. If I could mark my name in history just like them, and so I also have it on my body. The seal of the chosen ones, a crest has appeared. With this crest, I pledge I will mark my name in history as an awakener just like the Founders did. But tragically, cut to a classroom scene where the teacher is beaming with pride. "Okay, students. Congratulations on your results," he announces, pointing to a board that reads, "Everyone passed." But Minato isn't celebrating. His face falls as he reads a message on his mobile. He's failed the hunter's qualification test. Again, a classmate snickers. "At least you can clean some trash, right?" Minato swallows his frustration and thinks, "As an awakener, as long as you write down your name, you will pass. I failed for 3 years in a row and was mocked as a disgrace. This was my last chance. It seems I can never be a hunter even though I got a full score on the writing test and have been training my aura. This crest is more or less just a scar. I also want to be like the Founders." Just then, someone yells, "Oi, Kannagi, hurry up and come to the gate!" Minato's heart skips a beat. I completely forgot," he stammers, rushing out. He sighs. If possible, I want to be idealized and cheered on just like him. Hizaki Kaisi, the A-rank hunter. Outside, 2 students glare at him. You are late, you loser. One snaps. You made Hizaki-san wait. Another scolds. Minato stammers. I am sorry. Hizaki Kaisei, with his annoyingly perfect smile, steps in. Oi, stop it. It's not like I'm bullying the weak, right? The other student quickly backs off. But Hizaki-san, this guy is... Hizaki points to a group of reporters snapping photos. Wow, so this is the academy that Hizaki-san used to attend, a reporter gushes. We are looking forward to the documentary. I would like to use this picture as the cover. It's the moment when you defeat a dragon with a single slash of your sword. What do you think? Hizaki laughs. This is a really good picture. It's a bit embarrassing. Ha ha ha. Meanwhile, Minato's thoughts are racing. This guy, Hizaki Kaisi, we enrolled in the academy together 3 years ago. He was a genius who topped every class and bullied me. I can't believe I need to spend my whole day with him for this documentary. For what purpose does he want me here? A reporter's voice cuts through his thoughts. Who's the person over there? Hizaki Kaisei, ever the showman, beams. Yes, I want to introduce the person from the same academy generation. Well, he leans in and whispers. What was his name again? His underling whispers back. Kannagi Minato. Hizaki Kaisei straightens up and announces, yes, he is Kannagi Trash. Even though his grades were not great, he asked me for some favors. Well, thanks to him, I almost had no time for my training. I always gave him my advice and guidance. Minato is thunderstruck. What? What is he saying? Hizaki Kaisei continues his tall tale. Sometimes he also asked me for financial support. Minato's blood boils. Bullshit. He always took my money. I never asked for anything from him. Hizaki, ignoring the truth, adds, I had never encountered such a pathetic year in my life before. The public eats it up. What a story! Hizaki-san, you are the embodiment of perfection after all! Someone shouts. Hizaki grins. Look forward to it! I will be an awakener who will write down history! Reporters swarm Minato. You must be happy receiving the kindness of Hizaki-san. Do you have any words for your benefactor? Minato feels like he's drowning. What? No. There is no way I would do that. Hizaki Kaisei, with a grip like iron, grabs his shoulder and hisses. The test. In the end, you failed, right? You are completely worthless. Let's settle this peacefully, okay? Minato, sweating and shaking, manages to choke out, Hi! I am completely grateful for everything that Hizaki-san did for me. There are no words to describe my gratitude towards him. Thank you very much. Hizaki Kaisei, the picture of charm, says, Well, since we don't have much time, let's move on to the next topic. You can see my trophies over there. A reporter mutters, Wait, did you hear his name? Do we really need it in the article? Another replies, Nah, we don't need it. Minato's heart sinks further. No one will have any interest regardless. Even if you are an evil person, as long as you have the power to become a hunter, everyone will be on your side. Your name will also be remembered. Tears prick at his eyes. My name is... Just then, Hizaki Kaisei calls out again. After school, come to the mausoleum of the founders. Minato, caught off guard, stammers. Why? His thoughts spiral. What's happening? What would happen after this? Hizaki, with an almost sinister smile, offers, Do you want to take a re-examination? Minato's heart leaps. A re-examination? Hizaki nods. Yes. I will talk to the association. Minato, barely daring to hope, asks, But why? Hizaki's smile widens. Of course, it's a way for me to increase my popularity. The last scene is at the mausoleum. After that, let's talk about this. With a final, chilling grin, Hizaki says, You must come. Minato thinks, A re-examination? Is it for real? Even though I hate being used by Hizaki to increase his popularity, regardless of the situation, it's another chance for me. This time for sure. For sure. Meanwhile, a reporter exclaims, "At the mausoleum of the founders, a top-class hunter is pledging to protect humanity. This moment is really picture-worthy." Another reporter chimes in, "Yes, we managed to take a good picture as well. Thank you for your time during your busy day." Hizaki Kaisei beams, "Yes, I look forward to the article." The reporters begin to leave, still chattering about the grand event. Hizaki Kaisei's demeanor shifts as soon as they're gone. "Well then, have you found the entry point?" he asks, a smirk playing on his lips. His underling eagerly responds, "Of course, Hizaki-san! Isn't this the one we are looking for?" Hizaki Kaisei nods. "All right, let's do this." Suddenly, Minato shouts, "What are you doing?" Hizaki Kaisei turns to him, amused. "You didn't figure it out yet? It's a treasure hunt." Minato's anger flares. "What the hell do you mean by treasure hunt? You grave bandit? Do you even understand who is resting at this place?" Hizaki Kaisei laughs. Of course." With a casual stomp, he shatters a stone. "It's only the rotten bodies of the past, right? There's no way we would let this chance slip away to be millionaires. They're just rotten dead bodies. Do dead bodies have any meaning? I don't care whether it's the founder or the mausoleum." Minato's blood boils as he recalls his admiration for the founders. In a burst of rage, he lunges at Hizaki Kaisei, but Hizaki swiftly dodges and delivers a brutal punch to Minato's gut. Minato doubles over, coughing blood. Hizaki Kaisei sneers. "How dare you?" Minato, writhing in pain, thinks, "What? This is bad. I am dying." Meanwhile, one of Hizaki's underlings shouts, "Hizaki-san! We found something!" Minato, lying helplessly on the ground, is unable to speak. Hizaki Kaisei's eyes gleam with greed. "This aura, is it emitting from this item itself? This is wonderful! With this, I can live without the need to work for the rest of my life." Minato, desperate, thinks, "Stop! Don't you dare touch it! Shit! My voice!" Hizaki Kaisei turns back to Minato, an evil grin spreading across his face. "All right. I will explain it as easily as possible so a failure like you can understand. You see, I've been looking for a weakling just like you the whole time. Being fooled by words like re-examination, what a failure. I heard about you. You have been visiting the library the whole time. When I found out, I was laughing so hard. I finally found a useful pawn. Your crumbling dream of becoming a hunter. Finally deciding to steal the treasures of the mausoleum and go missing. What a tragic story." Minato, struggling to say something, is silenced by his own pain. Hizaki Kaisei smirks. "It will be on tomorrow's top news. Robbing the mausoleum of the founders and escaping from the police. The culprit is a third-year hunter from the training academy. Hizaki Kaisei shoves Minato and taunts, "What's your name again?" Minato is terrified. Hizaki Kaisei laughs. "It doesn't matter now, goodbye." Minato's vision blurs as he falls, his thoughts spiraling. "Is this how I die? I've been training every day. The tests I've taken so far, everything was meaningless. I'm dying. I'm fading away without being remembered by anyone." Just then, his surroundings start to glow. Minato's eyes widen in shock as golden spirits surround him. They speak in unison. "This being... a vessel. He shall be our vessel, the one who shall grant our wish." Minato thinks, "Vessel?" The golden spirits explain, "We are the heroic spirits that are sealed at this place, the souls themselves." Minato, bewildered, thinks, "What is the meaning of this? I can hear voices. These lights are all from the founders." The golden spirits continue, "Young man, What lies on your hand is the crest of nothingness. It doesn't possess any power by itself. On the other hand, it could manifest any power that you could have never imagined. Take one of us and form a contract. We are the pinnacle of every art: magic, endurance, swordsmanship, spearmanship, summoning magic, alchemy. Whosoever thou choose, thou shalt gain power from the benefactor. Now, whose power dost thou seek? Minato, driven by a burning desire, thinks, I want it, just like him. No, the power that is incomparable in this world, the power to overwhelm everything, enough to wipe clean all the humiliations I endured. The golden spirits say, now decide whom shalt thou choose. Minato, without hesitation, declares, everything! I want all of your powers! Give me everything! The golden spirits are taken aback. Such greed! Yet it doesn't sound bad, but it's impossible! No matter how strong the vessel is, to take everything shall... Minato interrupts. Shut up! Instead of yapping your mouth, everyone, enter me! The golden spirits shout in alarm. How? Stop it, boy! Oh no! Oi! You are kidding, right? Are you planning on killing yourself? Stop! How dare you! Do you know who I am? Suddenly, a golden circle forms under Minato. Izaki Kaisei notices something amiss. As the air shimmers, Minato rises, bathed in a blue aura, looking like a younger version of Satoru Gojo. Izaki Kaisei's underlings scoff. Huh, he crawled back here, just like a tenacious roach. Minato, now holding a stick, faces them. The underlings burst into laughter. What? Don't tell me that you really want to hit us back with that stick. Wow, so scary. Let's end this. Izaki Kaisei, seething with anger, commands, make sure he doesn't crawl back here. Cut his head down. One underling sneers, Roger! He taunts Minato. Based on the recent exam, you know that my sword aura is A rank, right? I have mastered the way of a swordsman. Be grateful that you are being cut by me, Minato whispers. Mastering the way of a swordsman. Suddenly, with blinding speed, Minato attacks, slashing the underling multiple times in an instant. The underling, thinking he had Minato cornered, suddenly feels sharp pain as cuts appear all over his body and he screams in agony. Izaki Kaisei is stunned. Minato, smirking, mocks, Hey, the path of your swordsmanship. Do you mind teaching me? What kind of? How? You said that you have mastered it, right? Izaki Kaisei's second underling, face twisted with fury, roars, The green cradle, the gaze of destruction. He declares, I am 7th grade, 2nd class. But before he can finish his boast, Minato casually points his finger and interrupts. You are slow. Thunderbolt Hadad! A powerful lightning bolt strikes the underling, who, in his last moment of consciousness, thinks, What? Without any incantation? Izaki Kaisei stands there, utterly baffled, thinking, he cut with nothing but a mere branch. And additionally, magic without any incantation? Impossible! This is basically... The narrator chimes in. Long ago, with only a single wooden stick, a great swordsman managed to cut down a 10,000 strong army. With the wisdom of true magic, the wizard could chant any spell without incantation. In the current era, the story is already considered a mere legend or fairy tale. The awakeners that were in slumber at the mausoleum of the founders, their souls dwell in the body of Kannagi Minato. There are 106 souls. Minato recalls Izaki Kaisei's grand declaration about marking his name as an awakener and mocks him. Your name shall not be forgotten. You shall be remembered eternally, including the new myth about me. He stands firm, a powerful blue aura radiating from him amidst the defeated adversaries. Izaki Kaisei, stunned by the spectacle, watches in disbelief. Minato, embodying the newfound strength of the founders, thinks, Unbelievable. I managed to absorb the souls of the founders with my crest of nothingness. They are content with the space inside. Inside his mind, the founders are having the time of their afterlives. What is this? This is really spacious. How many centuries has it been since I have been free from boredom? From here to here is my territory. Minato reflects. I have been memorizing the legends for a long time. Those founders, their souls are now inside me. The founders, ecstatic, declare, "All right, now, it's a race to see who's going to get this boy's body." Suddenly, the legendary swordsman Hinoki Raichuru speaks up. "Oi, brat." Minato, shocked, thinks, the great swordsman who cut down a 10,000 strong army, Hinoki Raichiro. Hinoki confirms, "That's right, to be remembered after such a long time as expected of me. What are you planning to do?" Minato, confused, asks, "About Hizaki?" Hinoki Raichuru responds dismissively, "I am not talking about that trash. I'm asking, what are you going to do about that?" Minato is stunned. Hizaki Kaisei, in fear, stammers, "Stay away. Don't look down on an A rank like me." In response, Minato punches him, sending him flying. "Get out of the way!" Suddenly, a massive and mysterious energy explosion envelops everything in light and darkness. Minato and Hinoki Raichiro stand calm, witnessing this extraordinary scene as if an incredible power is emerging. Minato is shocked. The scene shifts to the city where a three-headed Cerberus is rampaging. Someone shouts, "I leave it to you, Kisaragi-san!" As the Cerberus lunges to bite, Kisaragi leaps into the air, launching his attack. Waterfall's fall impact. Spectators marvel, "Wow, he instantly killed an A-rank monster! That's expected from an S-rank hunter!" Kisaragi, gracious, replies, "Thanks for your compliment. By the way, where's Hizaki? Because of that interview, it must be nice to be called a young hope. If he gets more popular, our guild's reputation will also rise. All right, after finishing my report, let's get a drink." Suddenly, he notices something on his phone. "Demon, what is this pressure?" People start saying, "Kisaragi-san, what is?" Kisaragi thinks, "The A-rank and B-rank hunters couldn't stand against this pressure. There is no mistake, it's an S-rank monster!" The scene shifts back to the mausoleum, where Hizaki Kaisei is shocked. An octopus monster with multiple eyes emerges from the bag. Hizaki Kaisei exclaims, "Demon! What the hell is that?" Minato explains, "It's because you opened the mausoleum. One of the boss monsters from the tower was sealed in this mausoleum, and the seal was undone because you brought those items away." Hinoki Raichiro confirms, "You are right. Some of the demons from the tower managed to survive by hiding and making themselves dormant. This guy is the embodiment of emptiness. The monster above S rank is a living disaster." Hinoki continues, "A living disaster that kills numerous humans within a few kilometers with its poisonous aura. The demon was quite common during our era. It seems that it's already too overwhelming for the youngsters in this era." Hizaki Kaisei, terrified, exclaims, "I need to run away or else I will be killed." Minato advises, "It's better for you to not move. It's always targeting." Suddenly, the monster notices Hizaki Kaisei, extending a tentacle towards him. In fear, Hizaki Kaisei shouts, "Stay away!" But the monster catches him and begins sucking the life out of him. Minato remarks, "I told you." Hinoki Raichiro proposes, "Hey, brat, won't you give your body to me completely? You want to see, right? The founder, Hinoki's one-handed sword style." Hinoki thinks, "I made the first move. I will take this vessel while the others are having fun." Minato replies, "I don't mind lending you my body." Hinoki, eager, says, "I see. All right, let's go." Suddenly, all the founders get angry, pulling Hinoki's hair. "Hinoki, you bastard! Are you running away? Such a strong vessel is mine!" Hinoki panics. Oh no! They noticed me! Calm down! Minato sets a condition. Only on one condition. I will only lend my body to everyone. All founders are in shock. I will surpass all of you, definitely. In time, I will reach the same height as them. I want to see how strong I would be, all right? Show me all you have got. Hinoki Raichiro, incredulous, says, What is this guy's deal? He's insane. Minato, imitating Hinoki Raichiro, calls out, Let's do this, everyone! Minato attacks the monster with consecutive slashes, cutting it into multiple pieces. The monster tries to grab him with the tentacle, but Minato destroys it with another founder's move. The monster launches another attack, but Minato uses yet another founder's move, grabbing and slamming the monster so hard that it is airborne. He then shoots a magic arrow that starts destroying the monster from the inside. Green liquid flows from the monster as Minato wipes it from his face using multiple founders' moves. The monster, relentless, attacks again. Minato, using thunder magic, leaps into the air and executes Hinoki's one-handed sword style. Gekirutachi wave-cutting blade, slicing the monster in two. Minato smiles while a crow observes the fight from a tree. The scene shifted to a blonde boy standing atop a building, looking like he was posing for a superhero movie poster while chatting on his phone. What? Is it already defeated? I was going to head over there now. Was there any strong hunter nearby? He asked, with a mix of curiosity and disappointment. The person on the other end replied, About that. Based on the footage we got from the Raven, it's a student of the academy. The blonde boy's eyes sparkled with intrigue. I see. I want to meet him. Thus, we were introduced to Ichihara Midori, also known as the world's strongest awakener. The scene then shifted, revealing Ichihara Midori seated atop a mountain of dead monsters, as if he were casually lounging on a pile of pillows. With a calm demeanor that bordered on nonchalance, he spoke into his phone. Hello. It's been a while, Director. Yes, it's about that S-rank demon. No, it wasn't me. Based on the footage from my Raven, it was Kannagi Minato who defeated it. I heard he also failed the Hunter's examination test 3 years in a row. That's why it's really hard to believe. Would you do me a favor? The scene transitioned to a school where students buzzed with excitement. One boy asked, Were you okay yesterday? That aura was awful. I couldn't move my body. Another student replied, I still don't feel really well, though. Suddenly, the first student puffed out his chest and exclaimed, What would you do if I told you it was actually me who killed that monster? The other student sighed, rolling his eyes. Impossible. It's been 10 years since the last emergence of an S-rank hunter. The first student persisted. That is why. There is a rumor that the one who defeated the monster was actually a student from this academy. No way. No hunter could defeat that thing. Besides, if there was such a person, he wouldn't be in our academy, another student replied with a dismissive wave. Minato thought to himself, Wow, the only topic I've heard today is the incident from yesterday. Suddenly, someone with the swagger of a peacock strutted by and said with arrogance, You are in the way. The person added, The S-rank slayer. There's no way such a loser can be the one. Minato winced in pain, thinking, I did defeat the demon yesterday, but it was because I was lending my body to the founders. And now my body is being painfully torn apart as the recoil. Suddenly, with a laugh that sounded like it belonged to a jolly old uncle, Hinoki Riichiro asked, Are you completely okay with that? Minato exclaimed, Hinoki-san. Hinoki Reichiro chuckled. You can call me Reichiro. Get a grip already, Minato. You want to surpass us, right? Minato remembered his vow from the previous day and felt a surge of determination. Of course, he shouted, causing a few passing students to jump in surprise. Hinoki Reichiro laughed heartily. Show me your guts. A student passing by muttered, What is he doing? Disgusting, Hinoki Raichiro remarked with a sigh. Regardless, the level of awakeners in this era is too low. They are more or less at the same level as normal humans, trash. If the tower were to emerge right at this moment, this world would surely end. Suddenly, Hinoki Raichiro's expression shifted, eyes narrowing. Minato asked, "Ooh, what's wrong?" Hinoki Raichiro said, "No, just now I felt a tremendous aura." Suddenly, a teacher's voice cut through the air like a knife. "Kannagi Minato, hurry up and come here!" Minato, his nerves jangling like a broken guitar string, stammered, I am sorry. Letter of resignation, right?" He thought, "I had only 3 chances to take the test. The Hunter's qualification test can only be taken from the training academy. I need to start over from the general admission slot." But the teacher's face lit up with an unexpected intensity. "No, go to the field right now. It's your re-examination." Minato's jaw practically hit the floor. Students around him started murmuring like a hive of bees. "Hey, has there ever been a Hunter re-examination test before? I wonder." Minato thought, "I'm still not in perfect condition, but I need to give my best." Out on the field, they saw the setup for a 100-meter sprint, with the average time being 3.6 seconds and the best record being 2.7 seconds. One snarky guy sneered, "Don't you guys know? He's famous for being a failure even in the teacher's office. For them to give him a chance after 3 years of failures." The crowd watched as Minato took off, moving so fast it was like he had rockets in his shoes. The teacher's voice boomed. 1.2 seconds! The gasps were audible. The second test was a 3,000-meter sprint. The average time was 4 minutes 20 seconds, with the best record being 3 minutes 17 seconds. Minato completed it in 1 minute 17 seconds. During the push-up test, he outperformed the best record by doing 840 push-ups. The bench press? The best record was 620 kilograms, but Minato lifted 1,280 kilograms like he was benching a bag of feathers. The students' eyes were popping out of their heads. "Oi, oi, hi! What the hell is he? He beat all of the best records by more than double!" He moved with such speed during the side hops that he created after images, like something straight out of an anime. The students were in awe. "Is he a monster? He is so cool!" Minato, panting but exhilarated, asked Hinoki Raichiro, Are the founders still lending me their powers right now?" Hinoki Raichiro, sounding almost bored, replied, "I won't help with something like this. We haven't done anything." "Probably." The scene shifted to the headmaster's room, where the headmaster looked like he was about to faint. These are all the current records of Kannagi Minato." Ichihara Midori, cool as a cucumber, responded, "Thank you, wow. These records are amazing." The headmaster, sweating bullets, said, "When I heard about the request for re-examination, I thought something was wrong. Even if his physical abilities are this amazing, the real issue is his magic capacity. In all of the tests over the past 3 years, his capacity was immeasurable. Basically, he doesn't have any mana. I think it would be a waste of your attention." The girl behind Ichihara Midori piped up, "No mana at all? Ichihara-san, as expected, that boy is... Ui." Ichihara Midori, with a knowing smile, said, Well, we will see." The scene shifted again to a magic measurement test. The teacher explained, "You know how the measurement works, right? You have to use magic to spin these giant fans within 30 seconds. The amount of rotation will be used as your score." Students cheered, hoping for a show. The best record was 4,022 spins. Minato thought, "In the past 3 years, I couldn't even move these fans no matter how much I tried, let alone control mana. I couldn't even feel it at all. But I can feel it now. It's circulating around me." from my right foot going upwards into my body. It's circling inside my body and back to my right foot again. I can accelerate this cycle with my breathing and release it in the palm of my right hand. The teacher shouted, "Start!" and the fan blades began glowing with a blue aura. The teachers were skeptical. "Oh, it's spinning!" Then the speed skyrocketed. The fan whirred so loudly that everyone was blown back. The teacher squinted. "I can't see the score with my eyes." Then, with a thunderous crash, the fan exploded. The fan blade rocketed toward the school, causing a massive blast that echoed through the campus. The principal, wide-eyed, saw the fan blade embedded in the headmaster's office wall. The girl behind Ichihara Midori exclaimed, "Ichihara-san, this is..." Ichihara Midori, with a laugh, said, "It seems he and I are the same. The second person in history after me. Immeasurable." Minato stood there, shell-shocked. The teachers, equally stunned, declared, You passed! You passed! You passed the hunter examination!" Students erupted with joy. "Yeah! He achieved the best record in every test!" Tears welled up in Minato's eyes as he thought, "Thank you so much. So I had it all this time, the power inside me." Hinoki Raichiro smiled, proud and a little smug. As expected, just by lending his body to us founders, the potential inside his body was awakened, so you are not an ordinary person with the crest of nothingness. I have been waiting for you for more than a century. You guys agree, right? If it's him, he might be the one that will fulfill our wish. Suddenly, Minato felt a shift in the air. Someone flew in front of him, their body glowing with a green aura. Minato blurted out, "Who? What? An explosion?" Hinoki Raichiro also tensed, recognizing the aura. "This guy, it's the tremendous aura I felt this morning." Ichihara Midori smiled and said, "Hello." Minato's eyes widened. "Ichihara Midori, the legend of this era, the strongest awakener. Why is he here?" Ichihara Midori, grinning, said, "I saw it, Kannagi Minato-kun. Congratulations on your result in the hunter examination test." Minato, overwhelmed, stuttered, Thank you very much." He thought, "He knows my name? Why? What is happening?" Ichihara Midori's smile widened. "All right, let's start an additional test for you. Let's call it, try to at least hit the world's strongest hunter once." Minato's jaw dropped. "What?" Hinoki Raichiro, not missing a beat, said, "Oi, brat, lend your body to me right now." Students began whispering excitedly. "The real Ichihara Midori, no way!" Ichihara Midori stepped forward, explaining calmly. "The rule is simple. If you can land a hit on me within the next minute, you win. Even if you lose, there's no punishment. Additionally, I will only attack you once every 10 seconds. No need to worry. I will go easy on you. You can use any skill you want while I won't use any skill at all. I will provide you any weapon you like. So choose anything you like to use." Minato, still in shock, thought, "What? What's happening? An additional test? What is this situation? Can I really fight the famous Ichihara Midori head-on in that 1-minute time? Can I really use any weapon?" Ichihara Midori's grin was infectious. "Absolutely. My body is harder than a katana after all, and sharper than any sword." Hinoki Raichiro, growing impatient, yelled, "Oi, brat! Hurry up and switch with me!" His face was contorted with fury. "How dare he say such words? I can't forgive you now, you modern people." Minato took a deep breath and thought, Raichiro is getting excited now. Ichihara Midori. As expected, his power is at the same level as the founders. I don't stand a chance for sure. He steadied himself, thinking, if that's the case, let's start then. The students, sensing the excitement, started shouting, Hey, something interesting is starting. A real battle with Ichihara Midori. Hinoki Raichiro shouted, "What are you doing, you fool? Hurry up and lend!" Suddenly, Ichihara Midori interrupted, "And start!" Minato's hand began to glow as he attacked Ichihara Midori with a katana. Hinoki Raichiro shouted, Are you planning on fighting alone? That's not fair!" Minato thought, "I know it's meaningless, but to become a legend, I can't just borrow the power of the founders. I have to do it with my own power!" Ichihara Midori, dodging Minato's attacks with ease, said with a grin, "Which social media are you using? I am sure that this incident will be recorded and become viral." The students were shocked. Is he checking his phone while dodging all those attacks? Ichihara Midori is so strong. Minato attacked Ichihara with multiple slash attacks, but Ichihara dodged them effortlessly. A student exclaimed, "Wow, this is awesome! None of his attacks connect at all. But don't you think something is weird?" His fellow student asked, "Weird?" The first student explained, "Well, it's about those attacks from Kannagi. How long will this continue?" Minato thought, "A feint from a vertical slash and changes it into a horizontal slash, feet, throat. Wow, my body can move the way I want, and I don't get tired from these movements either. Is it the effect of lending my body to the founder? My body is really changing." Suddenly, Ichihara Midori touched Minato and said, "All right, it's been 10 seconds already." He flicked his finger randomly, creating a tremendous force. Minato dodged it at full speed, thinking, "What the? Go easy, my ass. My head would have been gone if it had hit me." Ichihara Midori muttered, "That's weird," even though I didn't sense any evil from him, or perhaps I can't believe that I mistakenly adjusted my output. Minato thought, "I will be killed at this rate. I need to remember the feeling of that time, the strong me." Suddenly, Minato started realizing more blue aura. Ichihara Midori was shocked as Minato charged a slash at him at full speed. Students were amazed. "Boy, his speed is increasing. Camera can't keep up. With both of them." Ichihara Midori thought, "It's faster than before." Minato thought, "To defeat an S rank, my sword needs to be faster. Somehow the atmosphere is different. Does it have any condition to activate? Or perhaps they want to keep it a secret?" Ichihara Midori thought, "Oops, this time for sure as light as a feather." He flicked his finger, hitting Minato directly and sending him flying. Minato crashed into the school wall, coughing blood. He thought, "Awesome. This is awesome. This is really marvelous. I'm against the world's strongest awakener. If my body were the same as yesterday's and were to get hit with this attack, I'm sure I would already be dead. Good, good, good. I'm getting stronger, but with my current skills, I wouldn't be able to pass his test. Even so, that's fine. I will brute force my way with the remaining time I have." Suddenly, Ichihara Midori said, "I am sorry. I have seen enough already. 30 seconds. With that, he gave a karate chop on Minato's back, and Minato's vision started to fade away. Ichihara Midori said, "I can see he's a genius, but it's not on the same level as my comrades." He started calling someone, saying, "Hello, Rin. Let's head back. Yes, it's a shame, but I am quite disappointed with the Suddenly, Minato grabbed his katana and said, "What did you say again?" It was Hinoki Raichiro, he thought. The stubborn brat was already in bed. "You see, finally, I can use this body. Hey, let's play a little bit longer." Minato stood in shock as Hinoki Raichiro took control of his body. Ichihara Midori thought, "This is it. This is the presence I felt earlier that made me miscalculate my power output. A different person? Perhaps a skill. Regardless, he is a monster now." Suddenly, Hinoki Raichiro, using Minato's body, shouted, "Hey, don't space out!" Ichihara Midori noted, "His movement has changed. His speed and power are on different levels. In the first place, his swordsmanship is He barely dodged Hinoki Raichiro's attack and backed off, visibly shocked. With a devilish smile, Hinoki Raichiro launched a powerful slash, which Ichihara Midori ducked, resulting in the school building getting hit by the powerful attack. Panic spread among the students, who cried out, "It's getting dangerous!" Ichihara Midori thought, "His slashes are getting unpredictable. He can see where his opponent will move next. It feels like ancient swordsmanship, like flowing water. No, it has become a torrent of water. This is indeed needed to defeat an S rank like me." He said aloud, 40 seconds. Hinoki Raichiro shouted, "No way you would hit me!" and launched another devastating slash attack. Ichihara Midori jumped mid-air to dodge it and laughed, exclaiming, "Amazing!" The students were in disbelief, saying, "Is this real? Unbelievable! Ichihara Midori is on defense now!" Hinoki Raichiro shouted, "You are boring! No need to hold back against me! I will beat you up if you look down on me!" He charged at Ichihara Midori. With a laugh, Ichihara Midori said, "Fine!" and suddenly kicked a stone at a pile of weapons. All the weapons flew into the air. Hinoki Raichiro was momentarily confused. Suddenly, Ichihara Midori grabbed a weapon. Hinoki Raichiro shouted, "Finally, you are going all out!" The students couldn't see anything but flashy lights, exclaiming, "This is amazing!" Hinoki Raichiro and Ichihara Midori clashed. Meanwhile, other founders and Minato were watching on a screen. One founder remarked, "Hinoki is on full throttle." A girl founder said, "He managed to stand on equal terms against Hinoki. Not bad." An old founder commented, "Must be nice. It looks fun." A bird-mouthed founder added, "It's a pity indeed. Does that mean the boy's body is not yet a perfect vessel?" A magician founder also watching suddenly noticed something. Minato was imagining himself fighting, saying, "Dodge! Right, no, it's left. Pounce from below. Change the center of gravity." Suddenly, Hinoki Raichiro's sword broke. He thought, "Damn. Such a low-quality sword." Ichihara Midori threw his weapon aside, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. "Amazing! This is fun. This fight makes my heart race. There are no swords left. Are you going to use firearms now, or perhaps 10 seconds left? What will you do now?" Hinoki Raichiro's eyes widened as he spotted something. He leaped towards a bewildered student, snatching the student's sword with a determined, "Give it to me!" Ichihara Midori chased after him, his fists ready for action. He landed a punch so powerful that Hinoki Raichiro was sent flying. They traded blows with a ferocity that had Midori laughing, "This is fun! Let's do it a bit longer!" A student nearby screamed, "The building is going to collapse!" The earlier student wailed, "My sword!" Hinoki Raichiro saw Ichihara Midori heading for the giant fan blade and grabbed it tightly, leaving Raichiro perplexed. Just as Midori was about to hurl the blade, they heard Hinoki's one-handed sword style, single dice. The blade shattered into perfect cubes. Midori's eyes sparkled with admiration. "You are really amazing!" Hinoki Raichiro roared. "Eat this!" But his sword broke again. Midori smirked. 60 seconds? He delivered a devastating karate chop. Raichiro's mind raced. "Shit!" Suddenly, Minato shouted, "Not yet!" and reclaimed control of his body. Raichiro yelled, "Oi, brat!" Minato blocked Midori's hand and dodged his attack with unexpected agility. Both Midori and Raichiro were stunned. Minato thought, "Just a single hit." Raichiro reflected, "That brat. Even for a brief moment, even for me." His opponent might also not have expected that. He opened a new path for victory. Minato was about to strike Midori, but Midori caught Minato's fist, pulling it into himself. Minato's confusion was met with Midori's warm smile. "You passed." Students began murmuring, "What the hell happened?" Midori shouted, "Rin, let's go back!" Rin asked, "How was it?" Midori replied, "He passed. This kid is interesting. Since I accidentally broke his arm, could you fix it for me?" Rin responded, "Understood." One student asked, "Oi, did Ichihara say that guy passed? Which means..." Students, filled with joy, started shouting, "Amazing! That guy landed a hit on Ichihara Midori!" Rin said, "Please don't move." Minato nervously responded, "Ah, yes, thank you." Rin continued, "Congratulations on passing the test." Minato, shocked, asked, "I passed? Did I really land a hit on Ichihara Midori?" Midori, smiling, said, "Well, you are so cruel for forgetting about it already." Minato, still in shock, exclaimed, "He's here?" Midori said, "You see, let's say that we are even now. A pass is a pass. I went serious midway through your consecutive attacks." Minato thought, "It was Raichiru, though." Midori continued, "On top of that, you dodged my strongest attack. Your movement was amazing. Be proud of yourself." Minato said, "Okay, by the way, what comes next after I pass?" They all looked confused. The scene shifted to Minato's house. His mother was cooking, the aroma of delicious food filling the kitchen. She shouted, "Minato! How many guests are coming?" Minato responded with nervousness, "I don't know. Probably only one person." His mom sighed and said, "But today is a good day. On top of you passing the hunter's examination, you are being scouted by Ichihara Midori. I always believed that you are a kid who can grasp anything with effort." Minato smiled. "Yes." But suddenly his mom got upset. "But for such a celebrity to visit our house might be mistaken for a doghouse." Minato shouted, "Mom! Ichihara Midori is not that kind of person!" The scene shifted to Minato's bedroom. Minato was looking at Ichihara Midori's card. He remembered Rin giving Ichihara Midori a leg lock. And in pain, Midori said, "Ouch, ouch, ouch, ouch! I give up, Rin-chan!" Then Midori said, "Didn't I say that you would become one of my comrades if you were to win?" With confusion, Minato said, "I think I didn't hear such words." Midori said, I see. But well, there are too many eyes here. Can I visit your home tonight? I will talk in detail there. I will explain the choices you would have and also who our real enemies are." Minato thought, "Our real enemies?" The tower was already destroyed by the founders. The current hunter's task is to hunt the monsters that have escaped from the dimensional crack. Other than that, is there any other reason? Suddenly, Hinoki Raichiro shouted, "Hey! Oi! Wake up, Minato!" Minato, shocked, said, "Hoo-ah! Raichiro! And why is everyone here? What's wrong?" Hinoki Raichiro said, "We were discussing something before and just finished." Minato asked, "Discussing? Don't tell me. Have you decided who got my body?" Hinoki Raichiro said, "About that, we are." Before he could finish, the bell rang. Minato, in a hurry, said, "Sorry, I think Ichihara Midori is already here. Let's talk about it later." "Huh? What's happening? It's dark." Suddenly, Minato noticed his mother lying unconscious on the floor. Panic seized him. Mom!" he shouted, sprinting towards her. But then he spotted someone sitting at the table, munching on food. This tastes bad," the stranger said, scrunching up his nose in disgust. "Oi, brat, you have to discipline your old lady if you want to impress your customers. At least use expensive meats, right?" Minato, furious and confused, demanded, "Who are you? What did you do to my mother?" The man smirked. Oi, watch your mouth." My name is Haitani Goro. I'm the S-rank hunter that came here to pick you up. I'm one of Ichihara Midori's comrades. Hurry up and pack your bags, okay? We're moving to our base. Without warning, Minato launched a devastating punch. Goro effortlessly dodged and reappeared behind Minato with a devilish grin. Are you challenging me? He taunted. Minato's mind flashed back to his mother's words. Minato, even though your dad has passed away, I will raise you alone to be a proud person. Shoes? It's fine. I can still wear them. By the way, go buy yourself a new sneaker, okay? Good job on today's training. We will have your favorite tonkatsu for dinner today. Fueled by rage, Minato demanded, I am asking you now, what did you do to my mother? Hinoki Riichiru watched from the sidelines, muttering, His opponent is an S-rank of this era, huh? About time. I am a bit annoyed just by looking at this Ichihara ripoff. With a smile, he added, We will know for sure from this fight how we, the founders, should treat him from now on. Haitani Goro grinned. Your angry face is pretty cute. He lunged at Minato, but Minato caught his hand and used the God of Hands move. Kudo Hyuma, watching, was shocked. That was my move, he thought. With tremendous force, Minato threw Haitani Goro out of the house. Goro stood up, dazed as Minato approached. What was that? Just now, was that Aikido? I watched his fight with Ichihara this afternoon on video. Not only does he have a tremendous aura and swordsmanship, but also this... Minato interrupted his thoughts. As expected from an A-rank hunter, you are sturdier than Hizaki. Hurry up and answer my question already. What on earth did you do to my mother? With a sinister smile, Haitani Goro replied, Based on words, it seems you don't know. It's poison. She was getting in my way, so I put her to sleep. If she's lucky, she might only get away with some minor side effects. Minato said, I don't understand. Haitani Goro looked puzzled. Minato continued, Why would you hurt the family of someone who might become your comrade? Haitani Goro laughed. Comrade, you say? Are you stupid? Minato swiftly dodged another attack. Haitani Goro attacked again, saying, You won't become our comrade! You will only become our doll that obeys our order! Someone who is naive like you! I bet you will listen to us once we hold your precious ones hostage! Suddenly, Minato noticed Haitani Goro holding his feet and launched an attack, but Minato dodged it swiftly, though he got a small cut. Minato thought, What is this? My cheek feels like it's burning. Suddenly, Minato's face began to show signs of infection. Haitani Goro smiled. It's in already. I have a skill that allows me to produce dozens of poisons from my body. It's called Phantom Bug's Poison Deadly Vision. If I feel like it, I can release deadly toxic gas within a 5 kilometers radius. But I can't do that in the middle of a city. Anyway, this poison will kill you within a minute. If you say you will join our organization, then I will make the antidote for you. Otherwise, you will lose your life. Minato thought, a toxic gas that is lethal within 5 kilometers? And this guy is an S rank. For a normal person, it can be compared to a disaster for sure. Suddenly, Minato said, God of Medicine, Valentine, you are inside me, right? I'm sorry, but could you teach me how to detoxify this poison later? With nervousness, Valentine said, yes. Haitani Goro asked, What are you mumbling about? Has the fear of death already overtaken your mind? Minato said, The Aikido earlier was from the God of Hands, Kudo Hyuma. Kudo Hyuma thought, As expected, he's copying my Aikido just from that one moment. Minato continued, Every single time I am studying and remembering all of you from the records. The founders I always adored are now residing inside me. Haitani Goro was confused. Minato added, For me right now, I don't have any reason to be afraid of you. With a sinister smile, Haitani Guru said, "All right then. How about I teach you the world of pain? The next poison will make you beg for your life. If you beg and kneel, I will at least relieve some pain with antidotes. Once you are corrupted with pain, you will never be able to go back to normal after going crazy because of it." Minato stood still, and suddenly his body started glowing with a blue aura. He performed the Fist of a Saint Wontak. Haitani Guru started coughing blood. He went flying and hit a pole. Before he could realize it, he was kicked in the face and went flying again. Minato exclaimed, "The feet of light, I listen." Haitani Guru stood up, but Minato was coming for him. Haitani Guru went for another attack, but Minato broke his fingers with the sharp beak Karail. Then he used another move, the Dragon's Claw Rowan. Minato grabbed Haitani Guru and used the Flipper Lilac. Minato threw Haitani Guru into the sky. Haitani Guru thought, "Whew, what the hell is this guy?" No matter who they are, once someone is exposed to a poison, their judgment would normally be clouded. The poison should already be in his nervous system, which should render his movements. Yet this guy, he is. He saw Minato pointing his finger at him and heard him say, "The Magus of Truth, Meltius Silentius." He was hit by a powerful thunderstrike. All the founders were surprised. Hinoki Raichiro said, "You guys saw it, right? Just after defeating that insect once, he's copying all of our moves, both physical and magical. I don't care whether his power is from the crest of nothingness or not. He is interesting. Right, let's nurture him. If he is trained by the founders, Kannagi Minato will become the strongest awakener." The scene shifts to a rooftop of a building, bustling with urgency. People move swiftly, driven by the tension in the air. One person barks orders, "Hey, don't slack off!" There are already 15 guilds on the move to get their hands on the boy who fought with Ichihara Midori. We have to be fast. Suddenly, like a ghost in the night, Ichihara Midori appears behind him. "So it's that many," he says coolly. The person whirls around, eyes wide in shock. Ichihara Midori smirks. "But if it's 15, then you should be the last one, right?" With a flick of his finger, a burst of energy strikes the person, sending him sprawling. Ichihara Midori calls Rin on his communicator. Rin replies, "Yes, I have arrived. There are no awakeners detected nearby, but it looks like someone arrived here before us." Ichihara Midori's eyes widen slightly. Rin continues, "An S-rank hunter, Haitani Guru, the poison user. He came to visit Minato-kun and was defeated." The scene shifts again. Ichihara Midori stands before Minato, a mix of awe and concern on his face. "You are amazing! I never expected that you could actually do it. But you really defeated an S-rank hunter on top of that. Are you okay? Did you get exposed to the poison?" Minato, scratching his cheek, replies, "Yes, my mom and I are fine." Hinoki Rishiru interjects, "What do you mean, fine? Without Valentine here, you would have met the Buddha already." Valentine, with nervousness, says, I'm tired." Hinoki Raishiro continues, "You are pretty good finishing everything within only 5 seconds." Valentine responds, "Well, since the one who's producing the poison is there, extracting some blood samples is quite simple." He recalls the moment, a sinister smile on his face, saying, "Is it here? Here? Or here?" Ichihara Midori says, "We are sorry for being late. I've taken measures against many organizations that were aiming for you because of today's video." In confusion, Minato asks, "Many organizations? Does that mean that this guy is lying, saying that he was your comrade?" Ichihara Midori nods. "That's right. There are some people who would use my name. Rin, are you done?" Rin replies, "Yes, all the damages have been repaired." Minato is shocked. Ichihara Midori says, All right, now let's go inside and have a talk. This is about your future. The scene shifts to the next day. Minato's mom is fussing over him. Are you really okay? You did not forget anything? How about your wallet? Did you bring your charger? Minato replies, I am really fine. You worry too much. Minato's mom thinks, this kid is going to Ichihara-san's place? Ichihara Midori reassures her, yes, your son has undiscovered talents. Please entrust him to me. I will make him a great hunter. Minato, bubbling with excitement, exclaims, Awesome, 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 Mom! I am chosen by Ichihara-san. Mom? The scene shifts to the present. Minato's mom hands him a lunchbox. This is your lunch. You haven't had breakfast, right? I have put it in a container. You can also throw it away if you don't like it. Minato exclaims, Mom, I am fine! He remembers his mom saying, in the future, he will face a lot of dangerous situations, right? Ichihara says, yes. Minato's mom continues, my son always adored the legendary founders. He always struggled until now. It's an honor for me if you were to take this boy. But as a parent, I am worried. Ichihara reassures her, I know it's the job of a hunter to go against the monsters. There is no such thing as certainty. But I will train Minato-kun to be stronger, at least to the point where he won't lose against the founders. Minato's mom, with a mix of pride and worry, says, Ichihara-san, I am leaving him to you. The scene shifts to the present. Rin asks, was it really okay to make such a promise? In reality, we don't even know what will happen in the near future. Ichihara, looking at Minato, replies, I will keep my promise as best as I can. Minato's mom continues, don't sleep while being naked. You always catch a cold because of that. Be sure to separate your colored clothes when doing laundry. Minato, embarrassed, says, yes, yes. Ichihara says, I will keep my promise as best as I can. Minato says, bye, Mom, it's time already. Wish me luck. Suddenly, his mother calls, Minato, please come home during the new year. Minato, feeling a pang of sadness, replies, yes. If I look at my mother's face once more, my resolve would crumble. Ichihara says, it will be a long trip. You can do anything you want, such as eat or sleep. Minato looks at his bag. He sees the tiffin box and remembers his mother's words. He opens it and finds a note saying, good luck. His whole childhood flashes before his eyes. He exclaims, thanks for the food. Tears come to his eyes as he eats, and the car continues to move. The scene shifts to a hilly area. Minato exclaims, so this is... Ichihara says, welcome! Only a handful of awakeners are allowed to be here. The anti-prophecy unit, or known as anti-prophecy. Minato exclaims, this is the headquarters. Anti-prophecy. We see someone looking at them. The person says, hey, they are here. The new member. One girl says, you are talking about the new member, right? A yellow-haired boy says, hey, it's rare to have a new comrade. A red-haired person with a hint of skepticism says, comrade, you say? Let's see if he is really qualified to be part of the anti-prophecy or not. Minato, with a look of pure bewilderment, exclaimed, the headquarters of the anti-prophecy unit? I'm sorry, but what is that? Is it perhaps Ichihara-san's guild? Rin, probably regretting every life choice that led to this moment, sighed. I'm sorry for delaying the explanation. I couldn't explain it properly to your mother because it's the top nation's secret. Minato's jaw practically hit the floor. Top nation's secret. Rin, maintaining an air of mystery, simply replied, yes. Meanwhile, Ichihara, who had all the dramatic flair of a secret agent in a spy film, chimed in. We will discuss that really soon. Let's bring your luggage to the dorm first. As they approached Minato's luggage, Rin offered, let me carry it. Minato, trying to preserve what little pride he had left, said,
It's fine. I can carry it myself." Suddenly, chaos ensued. Out of nowhere, someone screamed, "Wait, wait, wait, let me explain it to you." And before Minato could even process what was happening, a yellow-haired guy launched a powerful dropkick right at him. To his credit, Minato took it head-on. The blonde, looking impressed, exclaimed, "Oh, to take it head-on, you are pretty good." Minato, clearly baffled, thought, "He's strong." Out loud, he asked, "Who are you?" Without waiting for a response, the yellow-haired guy pushed Minato back. With a dramatic flourish, he declared, "Let me introduce myself." He proudly announced, "I am Hanada Hikotaru, and I am one of the anti-prophecy members and your comrade." Amidst this chaos, Ichihara casually asked, "Rin, could I have some tea?" Rin, keeping her cool despite the ongoing brawl, replied, "Yes." Meanwhile, Minato and Hanada continued to exchange blows. "Why are we doing this despite being comrades?" Minato managed to ask between dodging kicks. Hanada, as if it was the most obvious thing in the world, said, "That is of course to explain about the anti-prophecy to you. Also to test your skills as well." Minato, now genuinely confused, asked, "To test my skill?" Hanada launched another kick, which Minato blocked. Hanada, seemingly in his element, started to monologue. "First, I will explain to you the origin of the anti-prophecy unit." Minato, unable to believe this was happening, thought, "He's actually planning on explaining this fight?" Hanada suddenly remembered manners. "Oh, before that, what's your name?" Minato replied, "Kannagi Minato." Ichihara, lost in his own thoughts, reminisced. He was tested by the academy, tested by me, tested by an S rank. Even now he's being tested. Always being tested. That's what you are thinking, right, Rin? It can't be helped. Rin, ever the realist, replied, "Since he's a talent that you scouted yourself." Hanada, undeterred by the introspection around him, continued, "Well then, let me ask you this. What is a hunter's job?" Minato, grateful for an easy question, replied, "To hunt down the monsters that are coming out from the dimensional crack." Hanada beamed. "Correct. To be precise, it's like a pest control task." "All right then. What about dangers other than that?" Minato, feeling like he was back in school, exclaimed, "Other than that?" Hanada, clearly enjoying his role as a teacher, said, "Yes, in this world there are dangers lurking around incomparable to the dimensional cracks. The Pandemonium 10,000 Demons Castle from 10 years ago. The great outbreak of Kyushu around 5 years ago." Minato, eyes widening, asked, "Those were the large-scale dimensional breaks." Hanada, with the dramatic timing of a seasoned actor, launched a powerful kick and said, "That's right. That's what they will teach you at the academy. That is public knowledge. But in reality, it's different." He then tore a tree in two for added emphasis. "Those are the invasions from different dimensions. It's the same as the Tower of Malevolent from 300 years ago." "It's an emergency situation," Hanada said, with an air of gravity. Minato, trying to keep up, exclaimed, "It's the same as the tower." Hanada nodded. "Yes, moreover, the invasion has not yet ended. Someone from another world is targeting this world with malicious intent. I don't know the reason why the awakeners are getting weaker compared to the era of the tower, and there are very few people who have the power that is on the same level as the founders." Minato, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders, asked, "Then what should we do?" Hanada, with a sense of purpose, said, "That is why we exist. Those who could foresee the future with their skills and identify the appearance of these dangers will only tell the elites to deal with those dangers, and those elites are us, the anti-prophecy." Minato, now fully in awe, exclaimed, "An organization to prevent those prophecies?" Hanada, with a warm smile, said, "Starting today, you are one of us. You are able to block my kicks in a row. You are the first one who could do that." With a broad grin, he added, "I welcome you, Kannagi Minato-kun. Welcome to the anti-prophecy. Minato, still processing everything, replied, "Yes, thank you." Suddenly, Hanada called out, "All right, my comrades, I have recognized Minato-kun's skill. What will you do?" As they all stared at Minato and then suddenly disappeared, Hanada concluded, "It seems that they want to see it with their own eyes. I will show you your room in the dormitory. Let me hold half of your luggage." Minato, feeling a mix of gratitude and exhaustion, said, "Yes, thank you, Hikotaro-san." Hanada, with a friendly smile, said, "You can call me Hiko." Later that night, in Minato's room at the anti-prophecy dormitory, Minato found himself deep in thought. An organization to deal with the prophecy in the world. I wonder if the founders had also dealt with the same crisis during the era of the tower. Something like that had been predicted. Am I also fighting against that? I am getting anxious suddenly. Hinoki Raichiro, appearing out of nowhere, said, "Then you can just train yourself." Minato, feeling guilty, exclaimed, "Raichiro, I'm sorry that I haven't talked with you." Raichiro, with the wisdom of someone who has seen it all, said, "I will tell you now what our decision is as the founders. We will train you to be the strongest awakener. Just like that guy called Ichihara, with everyone together, you could be the strongest awakener in history. Kannagi Minato, you will become the disciple of us, the founders."
Minato stood there, absolutely gobsmacked, like he'd just been asked to dance ballet in a bear suit. "You want me to be your disciple?" he stammered, disbelief plastered across his face like a bad tattoo. Reiichiro, exuding the kind of ancient wisdom that only comes from living multiple lifetimes and probably watching too many soap operas, nodded solemnly. "Yes, our disciple." Minato's face glistened with sweat, like he'd just run a marathon in a sauna. "Why? Weren't you planning on taking over my body?" Hinoki Reichiro let out a devilish laugh that could have frozen lava. It sent shivers down Minato's spine. "That's indeed a tempting suggestion, but we'd all end up fighting over it." The eyes of all the founders glowed with greedy anticipation, like kids in a candy store eyeing the last chocolate bar. Minato, panicking, waved his hands frantically. "Hey, don't fight because of me." Hinoki Reichiro chuckled, the kind of chuckle that says, "I know a secret and it's hilarious." It was like that at the beginning. But after watching you closely, we changed our minds. Instead of using that body for our benefit, training you seems way more interesting. Minato's jaw dropped so low it could have hit the floor. "Really?" Reichiro continued, reminiscing as if he was narrating an epic saga. "When you defeated that poison user, you managed to copy all of our moves after seeing them just once. Sure, you weren't as proficient as us, but you grasped the basics already. Do you have any idea how extraordinary that is? Whether it's because of your crest of nothingness or not, your greatest talent is your learning speed. That talent is stronger than any of the founders." Tears welled up in Minato's eyes. He thought, "Listening to Reichiro's words, my tears began to flow freely." Memories of his past came flooding back. He saw his old teacher, bewildered as Minato struggled to use his mana to move a fan. The teacher sighed. "It seems like you don't have any talent." He remembered trying his hardest but failing miserably, and the laughter of his classmates echoed around him like a cruel chorus. What's wrong with him? I've never seen someone fail the hunter's qualification test 3 times before. They laughed cruelly. You should have given up already. Reporters dismissed him, saying, "Did you ask his name? I don't need to. No one will be interested." Hizareki's sneer as he dropped Minato from a cliff. "What's your name again?" Minato continued thinking. Until now, no one had any expectations for me. Everything felt like a nightmare where I was treated like trash. He recalled Ichihara Midori's words,
Your son has undiscovered talents. And then Hinoki Reichiru's words, you have the potential to be the strongest awakener in history. His thoughts raced. Is this real? Tears streamed down his face. That such happiness could come into my life? The people I've admired all this time have such high expectations for me. With a warm smile that could melt the coldest heart, Hinoki Reichiru placed a reassuring hand on Minato's shoulder. Don't cry. Our souls reside inside you. Especially during your sleep, you can use the space inside freely without being bound by space or time. We will give you 100 hours worth of training every day. During the afternoon, you will train with those against the prophecy, and at night, during your sleep, it will be more training. You won't have peaceful sleep anymore. But you have already resolved yourself, right? Tears still in his eyes, Minato's face lit up with determination, brighter than a supernova. Yes, I am counting on you. The scene shifts to a bright morning where Hanada stood near the basin, seemingly lost in a song, maybe channeling his inner rock star. Minato shuffled in, looking like he just rolled out of bed and was still dreaming of fluffy pillows. Hanada's face lit up like a Christmas tree when he saw Minato. Good morning, Minato-kun. You still look half asleep. I get it. On my first day in the dorm, I was the same. Minato cut him off, toothbrush in mouth, mumbling, yeah, I'm still not used to it yet. Suddenly, Hanada's smile faded. He noticed something off. An overwhelming aura surrounded Minato, almost like he had a force field of pure power. Hanada, eyes wide, went into full panic mode and launched a powerful kick at Minato. But Minato, in his half-awake state, dodged it effortlessly, like it was just another Monday. Minato, clearly annoyed, grumbled, "Geez, please stop messing around in the morning. I'm still sleepy. I'm heading to the cafeteria first." Hanada stood there, jaw practically on the floor. What's happening? I kicked him way faster than yesterday, though, he thought, utterly baffled. The scene shifts to the bustling cafeteria of the anti-prophecy headquarters, a place where mornings are as chaotic as a cat cafe at feeding time. Hanada, ever the exuberant one, sneaks up behind Minato and says, "Hey, this is a good spot." Minato, who was still waking up and looking like he'd wrestled a tornado in his sleep, glanced around to see a plate full of fruit and a girl sitting there, munching away with the focus of a squirrel with a nut. Hanada, with a gentlemanly flourish that would make even the suavest butler jealous, asked, "Would you mind if we join you, young lady?" Minato, sweating and thoroughly confused, stood there, frozen like a deer caught in headlights. Hanada gave him a little nudge, telling him to sit down. Minato's memory clicked. Ah, she's the comrade Hiko-san introduced yesterday. The girl, with an expression that screamed, "I'd rather be anywhere else," said, "You're finally here, new guy." Minato's sweat intensified, and he looked like a human sprinkler. She doesn't seem to welcome me, he thought, panicking internally. In a desperate attempt to break the ice, Minato exclaimed with forced joy, "Hello. My name is Kannagi Minato." The girl didn't even blink. With a tone dripping with disdain that could curdle milk, she said, "I don't care. I don't want to remember it." She pointed her fork at Minato like it was a weapon of mass destruction. "I will call you by your name once I have accepted you. Until then, it's training time. You're coming with me to crush a prophecy." The scene shifts dramatically to a historical flashback, with the narrator's voice echoing like a documentary from the History Channel. In 1945, the first Book of Prophecy was found in the continent of Antarctica at a depth of 3,000 meters inside the ice. We see a man carefully cleaning an ancient book, his face gradually morphing from curiosity to sheer horror as he reads the title. Book of Doom? he whispers, his eyes widening as if he'd just discovered the world's worst surprise party. The narrator continues. Its words were rough, almost as if scrawled by a child. It foretold that 80 years in the future, the world would be attacked. Various future disasters were also detailed in the book. The world decided to believe the book. The scene cuts to a car speeding down a road like a bullet from a gun. Inside, a girl with a stern expression turns to Minato and asks, "Why do you think they believed the book?" Minato, looking perplexed and slightly nauseous from the speed, asks, "More than that? I still don't know your name." The girl, clearly annoyed, snaps back, "Do I have an obligation to tell you? Hurry up and answer my question." Minato, still confused and now wishing he'd stayed in bed, stammers, "Is it because the prophecies really happened?" The girl angrily retorts, "Are you stupid? If one of the events written in the Book of Doom were to happen, the world would end, you know?" Minato is taken aback, starting to sweat even more. He turns to Hanada and asks, "Hiko-san, how many prophecies are there?" With a smile that suggests he finds the end of the world amusing, Hanada replies, "I think around 200. Minato, now in total shock and questioning all his life choices, exclaims, "Don't you think that this world is already doomed?" With a calm smile, Ichihara Midori interjects, as if discussing the weather. "But we have already prevented around 180 prophecies." Minato's amazement is palpable, like a kid seeing a magic trick for the first time. Then about the question earlier, the reason why the world believed that book was... The girl, now more serious and less like she wanted to strangle Minato, explains, "The name of the explorer who found the Book of Doom is Bernard Russell. The moment he opened the book, he was greeted with what was written on the first page. Hello, Bernard. March 17th, 1945, 11:35 a.m. on a sunny day. Bernard Russell, the explorer, discovering the Book of Doom." The scene shifts to Tokyo's Sumida Ward, where a dimensional crack, intermediate level, is causing trouble. Enter our heroine, striding with purpose towards the location like she's got a vendetta against the universe. Two guards in black suits step forward, clearly ready to play the part of minor obstacles. "Hey, you! This road is closed. Please leave." Before they can finish their stern command, she zips past them with lightning speed, leaving them in the dust, jaws practically hitting the pavement. "Hey, wait!" the guards shout, utterly flabbergasted. Minato, looking slightly panicked and probably regretting all his life choices up to this point, asks Hanada, "Is this really okay?" With a nonchalant shrug that suggests he finds this whole situation mildly amusing, Hanada replies, "Yes." The girl suddenly adopts a serious tone, rattling off an alarming list of crises as if she's reading the daily specials at a disaster cafe. The Third World War, dark side of the moon, invasive pandemic, floating trees. Every one of those is an emergency, a serious crisis. And let's not forget the pandemonium outbreak that Ichihara-san shut down. Even if there were exceptions in the Book of Doom, we knew there were many other grimoires of prophecies around the world. To collect and analyze the information and act accordingly, the anti-prophecy unit was established. Imagine threats ranging from mildly annoying to catastrophically dangerous. Minato, wide-eyed and clearly wondering if he's bitten off more than he can chew, responds, I see. So are these jobs only for us from now on?" The girl nods. "It's a given, of course, after joining the anti-prophecy unit." Suddenly, a black-suited man shouts, "Kisaragi-san, someone is coming!" Kisaragi turns to see our heroes approaching, looking like a motley crew from an action movie. "They're civilians, right? Hey, this place is dangerous. Go home now." The girl continues, undeterred. "Today's prophecy is ranked 3. This dimensional crack looks like an intermediate B rank at a glance, but it's actually a rank 3 disaster yellow journal. The crack will soon widen. Both Kisaragi and Minato are shocked as the crack opens, unleashing wolf monsters that look like they've stepped straight out of a nightmare. The girl coolly explains, and higher-rank monsters will pour out next. Kisaragi, now in full battle mode, shouts, "Prepare for battle!" He launches a powerful attack but is horrified as his underlings are swiftly killed by the wolves. Punching a wolf, he thinks, "Damn it, the B and C rank hunters are struggling. This pressure, it's coming from a boss-level monster." Kisaragi notices our heroine and the rest of the group standing resolutely, like they're posing for a dramatic movie poster. Raising her hand, she begins to chant, "Trismegistus." Liquid mercury forms around her hand, morphing into spear shapes as she chants, "Mercurius." A wolf charges at a black-suited man, but the mercury spears target and eliminate the wolves one by one with pinpoint precision. Hanada's foot starts glowing, and he casually dispatches the remaining wolves with a style that suggests he's done this 1,000 times. Kisaragi, utterly bewildered, thinks, Who are these people? Their abilities surpass mine even as in rank." With a serious tone, our heroine commands, "Retreat now. From our perspective, you are the civilian." Kisaragi, in shock and feeling thoroughly outclassed, asks that emblem, "You're from the government." Suddenly, two massive hands start prying the crack open, revealing a pair of glowing red eyes that scream, "Boss battle." Our heroine, dead serious, declares, "This one is above S rank." Enter Beastman Gilia Ulnir, S+ rank. Our heroine and Hanada attack fearlessly while Kisaragi panics. "Hey, wait, don't attack carelessly." Despite their fierce assaults, Hanada realizes his kicks are being deflected. "My kicks are useless. The spears can't penetrate the monster's armor either." The monster charges at our heroine, who starts to prepare a shield, but Minato steps in front, taking a battle stance that screams, "I've got this!" Our heroine is shocked as Minato effortlessly grabs the monster and channels his energy, crushing it with ease before unleashing a massive fire attack that incinerates it. Everyone is in shock, especially Hanada, who thinks he defeated an S+ rank monster with a single hit. My intuition this morning was right. Minato-kun is getting stronger overnight. Our heroine starts sweating, thinking that was unnecessary. Minato, looking smug and clearly enjoying his moment of glory, explains, "Against an enemy with high physical resistance, using Kai to destroy them from the inside is best." He thinks back, "I learned it from Wantak the Fist's saint last night. The basics of basics. Penetration attack. And it's already proving useful." Turning to our heroine, Minato asks, "Hey, at least tell me your name since I just saved you." With a sweating smile that suggests she's trying to process everything, she replies, "Akane. It's Shinomiya Akane, newbie." The scene shifts and the air crackles with tension as Hanada launches a ferocious assault on the wolf monsters, using his physical enhancement penetration technique. The battlefield is a whirlwind of motion and energy. In another part of the chaos, two wolf monsters, marked with a visible mercury symbol on their chests, look bewildered. Suddenly, Shinomiya chants, "Mercurius!" and obliterates them in an instant. Our heroes stand amazed at the effectiveness of their attacks. Hanada grins, just like what Minato-kun said. Shinomiya, full of energy, exclaims, "It's easier if we break it from the inside." Suddenly, a voice cuts through the din. "Hey, newbie!" It's Shinomiya, shouting with a fierce grin, "We are going inside!" Kisaragi's eyes widen in shock, sweat beading on his forehead. Inside that dimensional crack is a completely different world. No matter what, that's insane. But to his surprise, Minato's face lights up with excitement. "I am coming!" Kisaragi stands there, mouth agape. "No way!" Our heroes dive headfirst into the dimensional crack. Kisaragi, still in shock and trying to comprehend what just happened, thinks to himself, "Those guys are amazing." His thoughts echo as the heroes press forward joyfully. So they are. From the rumored secret organization, huh? The scene shifts again to a darkened arena, the atmosphere thick with tension. Shadows flicker, and wolf monsters emerge, their eyes glinting with malevolence. Our heroine, Shinomiya, steps forward, unfazed, forming mercury around her hand like it's no big deal. "These monsters are still the same as the ones outside," she says with a smirk. With deadly precision, she hurls her mercury spears, skewering the monsters as if it's a casual Tuesday. Minato watches in awe, his jaw practically on the floor. "Shinomiya-san is strong," Hanada chuckles, clearly enjoying the show. "She's the best AoE dealer of the anti-prophecy." Just when they think they have a handle on the situation, a giant bear monster appears, roaring ferociously, looking like it's about to star in its own horror movie. Shinomiya calls out, "Hanada!" He dashes towards the beast with a swagger that says, "I've got this." The bear monster attempts to grab Hanada, but he's too fast, leaping onto the ceiling like Spider-Man. "Hey, I'm here," he taunts before launching a flurry of powerful kicks. Minato, impressed and probably a little envious, shouts, "Wow, that's cool." But then, to Hanada's surprise, Minato begins to glow with a blue aura. In an instant, Minato mirrors Hanada's movements, ambushing the bear monster with his own barrage of kicks, destroying it. "Was it something like this?" Minato asks with a grin. Hanada, eyes wide, exclaims, "No way!" They continue running deeper into the tunnel. Suddenly, Shinomiya's face turns serious. The enemy's numbers are decreasing. Is it finally here? Our heroes find themselves in a vast arena-like space. Minato, eyes wide, exclaims, "Hey, this place is huge!" A sense of foreboding fills the air as they sense danger from above. Minato thinks, "Something is coming from above." A huge creature descends with a thundering crash, a giant Minotaurus, its killing intent palpable. Minato, jaw-dropping, exclaims, "It's huge!" Hanada, equally stunned, gasps, "This one is..." Standing before them is the blind Minotaurus, an S++ rank boss monster. But Shinomiya, fearless and ready to kick some monster butt, steps forward. "You are finally here. You are the boss of this place, right?" Before the monster can react, she chants, "Trismegistus!" A massive golden circle forms under the beast, and in a blink, thousands of spears emerge. "El Dorado!" Shinomiya exclaims. "Rule number 1. Against a strong enemy, use your strongest attack first. Do not give them any chance to counterattack. I am going all out until my consciousness fades. I leave the finishing blow to you." Hanada, taking an attack stance, smirks. It must be nice to have a flashy skill just like Shinomiya's. With determination, he adds, "Understood." Minato stands behind them in awe. He thinks, their attacks are amazing. But then, with unexpected confidence, he says, "But it's not enough." Both Hanada and Shinomiya are taken aback. Shinomiya snaps, "Hey, newbie, do you have any complaints about my strongest attack?" Before she can finish, an enormous axe swings towards them. Our heroes stand in total shock. Suddenly, the bull monster roars and swings its axe with tremendous force, sending a shockwave of red energy that shatters the ground. Both Hanada and Shinomiya, eyes wide with disbelief, exclaim, "You are kidding me!" The bull monster advances toward them, completely unharmed. "It's unscratched!" Minato gasps as they all take battle stances. Just then, a calm voice cuts through the chaos. What a talent! It's Kilik, another legendary founder and master alchemist. Minato, confused, blurts out, "Kailik!" Kilik adjusts his glasses, observing Shinomiya's handiwork. Her alchemy speed, accuracy, purity, everything is... It's a shame for such a talent to be killed at a young age. I give her full marks for her method against an unknown enemy. If it were a boss at her level, she should be able to defeat it easily. But that's not the case here. She underestimated the physical resistance of her enemy. Minato, still reeling from the sight of the unscathed Minotaurus, asks, "Then, what should we do?" Kilik fixes his glasses and ponders. About that. Meanwhile, the monster starts rampaging again. Hanada exclaims, "It seems that it has high physical resistance." Shinomiya, frustrated and feeling like the universe is playing a cruel joke on her, replies, "Ha! I should have come with someone with magic." Suddenly, Minato's demeanor changes as Kilik takes over his body, chanting Trismegistus. Shinomiya watches in shock as Kilik, now controlling Minato, begins forming mercury. In Minato's mind, Kilik says, "I will show an example to her." He chants, "Mercurius," and the mercury launches towards the monster at tremendous speed. The Minotaurus, taken aback, is slowly engulfed by the mercury. Shinomiya, her mouth wide open in astonishment, exclaims, "How?" She yells, "Wait! How were you able to use the same skill as me? Moreover, what did you do? A physical attack against that is..." Kilik, cold and calculating, interrupts, "You fool!" Shinomiya is stunned. Kilik continues, "You are not flexible in your expertise. To become an alchemist, you have to know how to use substances in 3 different forms." The mercury begins to seep into the monster's mouth and ears. "Boil now," Kilik commands. The mercury inside the monster begins to boil, causing the beast to cry out in agony. Hot steam engulfs the surroundings. Hanada exclaims, "It's boiling!" Shinomiya, still in shock, thinks, instead of using it as a physical attack, he's using it at an extremely high temperature. Such a meticulous process. Kilik, with a hint of satisfaction, says, "Minato, I am fine with you, but I want her too now, to become my disciple." Minato, sweating and probably regretting ever meeting Kilik, retorts, "Stop joking around." As the steam dissipates, they see the giant bull monster reduced to a steaming heap with only its legs remaining. Both Hanada and Shinomiya stand there, eyes wide with amazement. Minato, now back in control, smiles. The narrator's voice cuts in. Today's mission, with the defeat of the blind Minotaurus boss, stopping the rank 3 prophecy, the Yellow Journal, has succeeded. We see Shinomiya in total shock, her eyes wide and mouth agape. She exclaims, "Impossible. The only skills that should be usable by an awakener are those that reside in their crest. He's supposed to be in the same class as Hanada, who is a taijutsu user. Yet he is able to use alchemy just like me. Who is he?" Minato steps forward, raising his hand towards Shinomiya with a warm smile. "My name is Kannagi Minato. Please remember me well, Shinomiya Akane-san." Shinomiya clenches her teeth in annoyance, but she reluctantly shakes his hand. "I will remember you very well, Kannagi." In her mind, she thinks, Kannagi Minato, huh? Meanwhile, Hanada watches the exchange with a warm smile, thinking, "Minato-kun, you are finally being recognized by Akane." The scene shifts to outside the dimensional crack, where Kisaragi and his men anxiously wait, nerves jangling like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. One of them, eyes wide with surprise, blurts out, "Look! The dimensional crack is closing." Another one, filled with curiosity and a touch of panic, adds, "What the hell is happening inside?" Kisaragi, visibly shaken and probably contemplating an early retirement, stands silent, trying to process the chaos. Suddenly, like action heroes walking away from an explosion, Minato emerges from the crack, followed by Hanada and Shinomiya. The men around them practically drop their jaws, exclaiming, "Wow, amazing!" The people who went inside returned safely. Minato, ever the gentleman, offers a hand to Shinomiya, who arrogantly ignores it, walking past him as the crack seals shut behind them. Minato, a bit deflated and feeling like he just got friend-zoned by his hand, asks, "Is our mission finished?" Shinomiya, with an air of professionalism that would make a drill sergeant proud, replies, "Now we just need to report back to HQ." Hanada, grinning like a kid who just found out there's no school tomorrow, adds, "It was a rough mission." Suddenly, Kisaragi calls out, "Hey, you!" Minato, looking confused as if someone just asked him to explain quantum physics, turns to face him. Kisaragi bows deeply and says, "First, I want to thank you for saving me and my men. I won't expect you to explain your affiliations, or even what happened inside." Shinomiya, ever so cool, chimes in, "Yeah, thanks for your understanding. Oh, right, just mention this emblem in your reports later on. That should explain everything to them." She points to the emblem on her uniform with the confidence of someone who just solved world hunger. Kisaragi, smiling like he just won the lottery, nods. "Understood. Please look for us in times of danger." Shinomiya waves it off like she's swatting a fly. "No need to worry, this kind of case is our specialty. We might not meet again. Go back to your daily life." With a wry smile, Kisaragi exclaims, "In the end, we are the civilians, huh?" The scene shifts to May 11th in N Prefecture's K Village. A local policeman on his routine patrol, and definitely not paid enough for this, suddenly notices a red, ominous light flickering in the distance. His heart skips a beat as he realizes the entire village is encased in some sort of eerie, glowing red seal. He mutters, "Well, that's definitely not in the job description," before frantically calling for backup. Meanwhile, at the Anti-Prophecy HQ, our heroes are just stepping out of their car. Shinomiya lets out an exasperated sigh. We still need to write a report, huh?" She groans. Hanada, however, is distracted, staring at his phone in bewilderment. "We're being summoned," he announces. Shinomiya, her curiosity piqued like a cat with a laser pointer, asks, "After a mission? From where?" The scene shifts inside the Anti-Prophecy HQ to the laboratory's third conference room. Shinomiya, ever the professional, knocks and calls out, "Excuse me," as they enter. But they're immediately greeted by shocked faces. Sitting at the head of the table is a red-haired boy who smirks and says, "Shinomiya, it seems that you took a long time just to close a rank 3 disaster." Minato, recalling the boy from somewhere and trying not to look like a deer in headlights, thinks, "If I recall correctly, he was there." Shinomiya, clearly irritated and ready to throw hands, snaps, "Shinji, stop acting high and mighty. You are not our leader." Hanada, ever the peacemaker and lover of good vibes, chimes in with a grin. "Calm down, you two." Turning his attention to Director Kurihara, Hanada asks, "So what do you need from us, Director Kurihara?" The director, ever the man of few words and dramatic pauses, clicks a remote and starts a video. "Please watch this. It's a video sent by the analysis team," he says. The screen displays a glowing red, paper-like object resting on the floor, casting a surreal, fiery glow across its surroundings. Shinomiya, squinting at the screen as if trying to see the tiny print on a contract, asks, "What is that charcoal?" Kurihara, in his serious tone that would make a funeral director proud, replies, "It's a prophecy grimoire. It was found burned just like this. We found this in a volcanic area and have been analyzing it since." Minato, sweating bullets like he just ran a marathon, asks, "Found burnt a prophecy grimoire? If that's the case, we can't even read it." Kurihara, adjusting his glasses with the dramatic flair that belongs in a soap opera, continues, "With recent advancements in AI and X-ray technology, we've managed to decipher part of it. The contents are unclear, but there is one prophecy that mentions Japan specifically. This revelation leaves everyone in the room wide-eyed with shock. Shinomiya, barely containing her surprise, exclaims, "A completely new prophecy, you say?" Minato, still playing catch-up like a student who just realized there's a pop quiz, asks Hanada, "Is it rare?" Hanada nods. "I've never heard about it before. The Anti-Prophecies Research Department is pretty excellent. They gather information about prophecies worldwide. Normally, a new type of prophecy should be impossible, but this case is special." Shinji, with his signature serious look that says, "I'm the boss around here," interjects, "In short, all four of us need to investigate this matter, right?" Kurihara, nodding like a wise sage, responds, "You are sharp as ever. Normally, the mission is given to the usual members, but they are all away right now." Minato, still processing and wishing he had a manual for this, thinks, "So that's why Ichihara-san wasn't here when we came back." Kurihara, again adjusting his glasses in that dramatic anime style, continues, "I would like to have all four of you scout for this investigation. I will send the details through email. You have to depart now." Minato, in total shock and feeling like he just got whiplash, exclaims, "A new mission straight away?" Shinomiya, ever the seasoned professional and clearly used to this madness, says, "This kind of situation sometimes happens." Hanada, with a supportive smile that could calm a raging bull, adds, "You'll get used to it soon, Minato-kun." Minato, still grappling with the reality of it all, sighs, "Well, the fate of the world is at stake, so it's a given, huh?" Shinji stands up with a flourish and declares, "Understood. Suo Shinji and 3 subordinates are accepting the mission." Shinomiya, her patience stretched to its limit and ready to explode, yells, "Who are your subordinates?" The scene shifts and our hero's car barrels down the road like it's got a date with destiny. Director Kurihara's voice echoes in the background, trying its best to be the voice of reason. The scale of this mission is still unknown due to the sudden news. Please be careful. Even if the prophecy comes true, just wait for the main force. Inside the car, Minato is doing his best not to let his thoughts spiral into a full-blown panic attack. A special mission with an unknown rank. It's just a scouting mission. I don't have to be nervous, he tells himself, though he's about as calm as a cat on a hot tin roof. Shinji, the pragmatic realist, turns to Shinomiya with all the subtlety of a drill sergeant. You just finished your previous mission, right? Go get some rest now. It would be troublesome if this caused problems later on. Shinomiya, already a bundle of nerves, snaps back, "Don't order me around, I am fine without sleep." But before she can wind herself up too tight, Minato chimes in, "Well, I will take that offer then," and promptly leans back, embracing sleep like it's an old friend. Hanada, never one to miss an opportunity for a nap, echoes, "Me too, good night." And just like that, the two are out cold, snoring away like they don't have a care in the world. Shinomiya, ever the stubborn mule, struggles to stay awake. She slaps herself and exclaims, "Don't sleep! I will definitely not sleep!" But as the minutes tick by, her eyelids grow heavy, and inevitably she succumbs to the sweet embrace of sleep. Suddenly a voice pierces her dreams. Wake up, Shinomiya!" Jolted awake, she exclaims, "I am not sleeping!" Rushing to the front, she demands, "Why didn't you wake me up?" Minato, all business, points ahead and says, "Look." Shinomiya's eyes widen in shock. She starts trembling and mutters, "This is..." Our heroes stand on a cliff, gazing down at a village shrouded in a sinister red seal. Hanada, with a grave expression, states, "The situation is pretty bad already, and the prophecy is almost complete." Shinomiya, her voice trembling, asks, "Such a large magic circle, those red pillars, are the 23 residents from the report, right?" Shinji, the team's resident historian, remarks, "It's just like in the past. It's the same as the incident of the disappearance of Wakayama's mansion. 30 years ago, during that prophecy, it was a close call. A hole from another dimension was about to open. Suddenly, the crystal pillars start glowing with red energy. Hanada exclaims, "The pillars are..." Shinomiya replies urgently, "We have to move fast," as she watches Shinji draw his katana. Hanada, looking to Shinji for direction, asks, "Well, what do we do now?" With steely resolve, Shinji replies, "Of course we have to stop it." Shinomiya, unable to resist a jab, teases, "Are you saying that you are ignoring the director's words?" But before Shinji can retort, a burst of blue energy erupts behind them. Hanada and Shinomiya whirl around in shock to see Minato, now in full SSJ Blue mode, exuding raw power. With a cocky grin, our badass Minato declares, "We can go, right?" Shinomiya, her mind racing, thinks, "Kannagi. He..." Hanada, equally astounded, muses, "He's stronger than this morning." Shinji, impressed and unfazed, says, "It seems that you won't hold us down," and leaps off the cliff with the commanding, "Follow me." The trio follows suit, and Shinomiya yells, "Don't be reckless and don't order us around." Inside Minato's mind, we glimpse Hinoki and that mage woman whose name always slips our minds. The mage woman, inhaling deeply, says, "Such a nostalgic smell." Hinoki, with a solemn nod, replies, "Yeah, we smelled it many times throughout our lives." The scene shifts to a grave, absorbing red energy. Suddenly, a hand bursts forth from the earth. Hinoki, his expression dark, states, "It's the smell of a forbidden technique." The scene then darkens, and we witness a shadowy figure pouring blood on the ground with the grace of a demented artist. With a laugh that could curdle milk, he declares, "I won't hold much longer." But in 1,000 years, I will be... His smile spreads as if he's just heard the world's best joke. "I shall devour every living being and reign this world as a demon king." The narrator picks up the grim tale, his tone now laced with foreboding. In the end, Bandu Shijima left his forbidden technique in this world. The magic circle he had drawn himself shows how the living beings would be sacrificed for his resurrection. The voice hardens, each word a stone dropping into an abyss. This mission is now: investigate and prevent the prophecy of scorching heat, rank unknown. Boss, Bandu Shijima. Bandu Shijima clenches his fist, his expression one of theatrical disappointment. "What a shame," he muses dramatically, like a villain from a bad soap opera. "For me to be resurrected with only this much power. Were the sacrifices not enough? Even after 1,000 years, this place hasn't changed. It's fine, I guess." The mood darkens as our valiant heroes launch their attack. With a sinister smile, Bandu Shijima chuckles, "There are still living sacrifices around." "Oh joy! Dark art, plate of yin," he intones, and our heroes are engulfed in a brilliant red energy. Tremendous flames erupt, but Shinji manages to dodge just in time. Minato, untouched by the flames, shouts, "Hanada, Shinomiya-san!" The scene reveals Shinomiya and Hanada with only minor injuries. Hanada replies, "We are fine. But then Minato's urgent voice breaks through. "Below you!" To their horror, another red circle glows beneath them. Hanada's thoughts race. Another one at my landing spot? But before they can react, Bandu Shijima commands, "Dark art, death realm." Thousands of hands erupt from the ground, seizing our heroes and dragging them down. Sweat beads on Hanada's forehead as they struggle. "I can't move." Shinomiya, equally trapped, gasps. He's an expert in using his skills. And there stands Bandu Shijima, grinning like the devil himself. Shinomiya's voice quivers. "Our enemy is really strong." Suddenly, Bandu Shijima notices something. Minato lunges with a devastating karate chop, which Bandu Shijima effortlessly dodges. Minato persists, attacking with punches and kicks, but Bandu Shijima evades each one with the grace of a ballet dancer at a rock concert. I see your movement is not bad, but you are still an amateur." With a casual gesture, Bandu Shijima summons another red circle under Minato. The ensuing flames are tremendous, but to Bandu Shijima's shock, Minato leaps into the air, lightning crackling in his hand. "Thunderbolt Hadad!" Minato shouts. Powerful lightning bolts surge toward Bandu Shijima, who nonchalantly stops them with a single finger. "I see. That's a pretty good one." But then, out of nowhere, Shinji appears, sword ready. Skill, chrysanthemum. Multiple swords fly towards Bandu Shijima's throat, but he leaps and balances on the sword's tip with a finger, laughing. "It was close, such a shame." Shinji doesn't relent. "From the beginning, I already knew you wouldn't lose with this much. Skill. Autumn Thistle." A rain of light swords descends upon Bandu Shijima, who dodges them all while mocking. "It looks like rain. Your skill is basically making multiple light swords. I am proficient with swords, but..." He launches a devastating karate chop at Shinji, who blocks it with his sword. With a devilish grin, Bandu Shijima praises, "Good, very good. You are the strongest person in the group." Minato, sweating profusely, watches in dismay. "This guy is practically bottomless." Minato thinks. "He is completely different from the enemies I have met so far. It feels like he is as strong as Ichihara-san or even the founders. What should I do?" Suddenly, someone shouts, "Kannagi!" Hanada and Shinomiya power up and break free from the grasping hands. They rush into the fray, with Shinomiya shouting, "Don't just watch!" Bandu Shijima waves a hand dismissively, creating 3 portals. "Bouquet of Shikigami skeleton demon," he intones. 3 monstrous beings emerge. Without hesitation, Hanada and Shinomiya attack, only to find the monsters unharmed. Hanada realizes these monsters, their bodies, are the same as that Minotaurus. A green monster confronts Minato, who prepares his glowing fist for an attack. Meanwhile, Shinji and Bandu Shijima continue their intense duel, blocking each other's moves. Bandu Shijima mocks, "Too bad you won't be able to get any help." Shinji, unfazed, replies, "Help?" With swift precision, he cuts Bandu Shijima's shoulder. Shocked, Bandu Shijima recoils. Shinji's voice is cold. "I don't need any help." Flashback to Shinji's past. A figure tells him, "Stay away, Shinji." The figure walks away and Shinji reaches out in vain. Back in the present, Shinji declares, "The only thing I can rely on in this world is my ability alone." Bandu Shijime, laughing maniacally, agrees. "That's right. I also don't need anyone else. Therefore, I shall devour everything." With another sinister laugh, Bandu Shijima launches multiple attacks, which Shinji barely dodges. Determined, Shinji thinks, "I need to be faster." Just then, Minato appears, his hand glowing. Bandu Shima is puzzled. "Why is this guy here? How are the skeleton demons? Minato's opponent lies defeated, its upper body obliterated. Bandu Shijima, stunned, thinks, defeated. Before he can react, Minato delivers a powerful punch to his face, sending him flying. Shinji thinks he is. Minato, resolute, declares, fighting him alone would be reckless. Bando Shijima, licking the blood from his cheek, laughs as Minato takes a battle stance. Let's join forces and defeat him together. Shinji glanced over at Hanada and Shinomiya, still embroiled in their fierce battle. Even Hiko and Shinomiya couldn't defeat those demons instantly, yet this guy did it effortlessly. Who the hell is he? He thought, his brow furrowed in confusion. Minato, radiating confidence, took a battle stance and declared, let's join forces and defeat him together. But Shinji, ever the lone wolf, scoffed arrogantly. Together? Huh? Stay away. Minato blinked in shock. With a steely determination, Shinji asserted, I don't need anyone to help me with this fight. I will defeat him by myself. Minato, still processing this, exclaimed, What? Suddenly, Bandu Shijimi appeared before them, his hands extended menacingly. That's right. I also like to enjoy things alone. A red energy ball formed in his hand, and with a sinister grin, he aimed it at them. Shinji, quick as lightning, shouted a skill and chopped the hand targeting him. Unfortunately, Minato wasn't as lucky and took the full brunt of the energy blast, Magatsu's breath. The force of the blast sent Minato flying, and with a sinister laugh, Bandu Shijima lunged at Shinji, who blocked the attack with his sword. Minato's flight came to an unceremonious halt when he crashed into a tree with a resounding thud. His body, bruised and charred, slumped to the ground like a rag doll that had seen better days. Inside his mind, an unexpected scene unfolded. Hinoki and the mage woman stood before him. I am, Minato mumbled, clearly dazed and confused. Unfortunately, you fainted, so we were able to finally summon you here, Hinoki explained, his tone dripping with mock regret. Minato glanced at his throbbing hand, grimacing, but with the resolve of a hero who's had enough, he stood up resolutely. Right. I have to go now? Hinoki's expression turned serious. Minato, you have to step away from this fight. Minato's eyes widened in shock as the scene shifted back to the battlefield where Bandu Shijima and Shinji were clashing like titans. Shinji's sword met Bandu Shijimi's unyielding hand repeatedly. Our way of thinking is the same, Bandu Shijima taunted with a grin that could curdle milk. This man, I couldn't cut him with my skills anymore, Shinji thought, beads of sweat forming on his brow like tiny betrayal droplets. Yes, we don't need anyone else. Bandu Shijima continued, his sinister laugh echoing, Therefore, I shall devour everything. With a swift motion, he shattered Shinji's sword like it was a cheap toy. Undeterred, Shinji summoned another sword and launched a fresh attack, but Bandu Shijima dodged it with the ease of a cat avoiding a bath. Good, entertain me more. Bandu Shijima laughed as Shinji rushed towards him again. Meanwhile, Minato watched from a distance, his mind racing. Hinoki's voice echoed in his thoughts. Look, that Suo Shinji guy is stronger compared to Hanada or Shinomiya, yet he is not on par with that dark Magos. This is something that will be too much for you to handle right now. Minato was taken aback. The mage woman added, His precision in performing his resurrection is really high. If many humans were living in this place, then he is basically a demon king already. If he were to consume your life too, he would definitely get stronger. There will be many casualties among civilians. Minato stood still, recalling the director's words, the unknown rank prophecy. We could say that it was pure coincidence that we found that grimoire. Hinoki suggested, "Leave this to us. You just need to lend your body to—" But before he could finish, Minato exclaimed, "No!" Both Hinoki and the mage woman were shocked. Minato clenched his fist and declared, "I am sorry, but this is not training anymore. It's the real thing." He remembered his fight with Garou and said, "In the future, too, I have to overcome any obstacles on my path with my own strength." With a bright smile, he asked, "Am I wrong?" The mage woman hesitated. "But, Minato-kun, you—" To her surprise, Hinoki laughed heartily. "He's beaten us already." He patted Minato's shoulder and said, "Yeah, Minato, you are going to surpass us, the founders, right? Then go. Use everything you have learned so far. You do it your way." Minato, now determined, moved towards the battlefield, but paused to look back at Hinoki. With a warm smile, he said, "Please watch over me, masters." Then, with tremendous speed, he ran towards the battlefield. Back in the fray, Bandao Shijima was clearly overpowering Shinji. "Do you have anything else? Come at me!" he taunted. Bandao Shijima's hand plunged into Shinji's stomach, throwing him into the air. Forming a powerful energy ball, he exclaimed, "This ends here!" Shinji's katana slipped from his grasp as he thought in agony, "Shit, is this the best I could do?" Suddenly, Minato appeared with a leap, placing a hand on Shinji's shoulder. "If that's the case—" Minato grabbed the katana mid-air. Shinji, surprised, murmured "Tor. Newbie? Minato lunged towards Bandao Shijima. Bandao Shijima launched the Magatsu breath, but Minato, unfazed, prepared his sword. As he uttered those three magical words that fans had been waiting for, Hinoki's one-handed sword style, Kikirodachi wave-cutting blade, he unleashed a tremendous slash, splitting the energy blast and severing Bandao Shijima's hand in the process. Bandao Shijima, in total shock, thought, "What is this skill? Who the hell are you?" he shouted. With a swag-filled smirk, our hero replied, "Kannagi Minato, the man who will surpass the founders." From a distance, Hinoki and the mage woman watched the intense battle unfold. The mage woman, her eyes narrowing with concern, asked, "What do you think? Do you think Minato-kun will win against that dark Magus?" Minato, with determination etched on his face, moved towards Bandao Shijima for the attack. In the background, Hinoki's voice, calm yet tinged with excitement, echoed, "We can only watch over him." Hinoki's mind drifted to a recent memory, a smile forming on his lips. Minato is not stupid. Did he perhaps learn something new during the training while he was sleeping in the car? With a knowing grin, Hinoki exclaimed, "Or perhaps, is it something way beyond that?" As Minato went in for a slash attack, Shinji watched from a distance, his eyes widening in surprise. "This newbie," he muttered. Minato's consecutive slashes were so fast that Bandao Shijima barely blocked them, each clash reverberating like a thunderclap. Bandao Shijima's shock was palpable as he thought, "Who the hell is he?" Shinji's mind flashed back to the moment when Minato had come to help him, and he had refused to team up. Now, seeing Minato fight with such prowess, Shinji clenched his teeth in frustration and anger. Minato blocked Bandao Shijima's attack with a swift sword slash, but Bandao Shijima quickly formed multiple energy balls, eyes glinting with malicious intent. Minato's shock was evident as Bandao Shijima shouted, "Dark art, pomegranate!" The energy balls transformed into laser beams that homed in on Minato, forcing him to jump aside. But to his dismay, the beams pursued him relentlessly. Mid-air, Minato thought, "Is it chasing me until it hits me?" In a moment of inspiration, Minato stopped abruptly and, with all his might, lifted his leg high. Wantak, the martial expert Funder, watching from afar, was amazed. He remembered the time he had taught that very move to Minato. With a powerful stomp, Minato executed the move Aftershock. The ground below him scattered, and a giant piece of earth rose up like a shield, blocking the laser beams. Bando Shijima was stunned, thinking, "This kid is using the boulder to block it." As the laser beams impacted the makeshift shield, a huge explosion occurred, sending debris flying. Bando Shijima, momentarily blinded, was even more astonished when Minato, far from finished, remembered his training with another founder. In a burst of speed, he used Flash Step, hopping from one ground piece to another towards Bando Shijima with incredible speed. In the blink of an eye, Minato was behind Bando Shijima, his sword poised for a slash. Bando Shijima barely dodged, but the attack still cut his cheek. He thought, what is he? An irregular. However, he quickly trapped Minato in a magic circle, shouting, "Dark art, plate of yin." Brilliant red energy engulfed Minato, tremendous flames erupting around him. Knocked back by the force of the flames, Minato quickly regained his composure. Using Flash Step again, Minato thought, "Keep the basics." He remembered all his founder masters and their teachings, thinking, "Use all the skills they taught me." With renewed determination, Minato prepared for his next move, ready to show Bando Shijima the true extent of his training. In the midst of a frenzied battlefield, the tension reached a fever pitch. Minato, with the agility of a caffeinated squirrel, launched an attack so blindingly fast that Bando Shijima was left staring blankly, his brain clearly lagging a few steps behind reality. Before he could even process what happened, a sharp sting in his hand and the sight of blood spreading like an overly dramatic ketchup spill jolted him back to the present. Eyes wide, he thought, "This is it." Cue the dramatic flashback montage. Bando remembers Minato's every move, swordsmanship that could make samurai weep, a physique carved from marble, magic that could make Hogwarts jealous, and movement swifter than a hyperactive cheetah. Yet, Bando remained unimpressed. "These skills are child's play," he mused arrogantly. But then Minato unleashed a flurry of sword slashes, and Bando's confidence wavered. But this kid, how many skills does he have? On the sidelines, Hinoki and a stunned mage woman watched in sheer disbelief. The mage, with the wisdom of 1,000 animes, exclaimed, "It's one thing if he's up against a monster, but to see him implement everything this far, he's growing at such a tremendous speed." Just as she was about to make another profound observation, Bando Shijima, with a smirk that could curdle milk, interrupted her reverie. "It's interesting, but," he said, his eyes gleaming with devilish delight. "Forbidden art," gasps echoed all around as Bando unleashed his ultimate trump card. Even Shinomiya, who was usually as unflappable as a rock in a hurricane, noticed something terrifying. A colossal skeleton leg crashed down, narrowly missing her as she dodged with the grace of a cat avoiding a bath. She looked up, her face a perfect canvas of horror and dread. "What is this?" There, standing atop a giant skeleton bathed in a menacing red aura, was Bando Shijima, grinning like a lunatic. "Forbidden art! Skeleton fusion!" he bellowed. Any Naruto fan worth their kunai could see where this was headed. "Oh, come on," I shouted at the screen. "This is a blatant ripoff of Madara Uchiha's Susanoo." But the drama unfolded nonetheless. "It was entertaining, child," Bando sneered, his voice dripping with condescension. "But it was not enough. This ends here." The giant skeleton raised its palm, ready to squash Minato like an unfortunate bug. Inside Minato's mind, Hinoki and the mage woman watched the scene unfold on an imaginary screen. Hinoki, in a panic, shouted, "This isn't looking good! Run away, Minato!" But Minato stood there as calm as a monk in a meditation retreat. He's right, Minato thought. The current me won't have enough even if I were to go all out. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. More. I need more. He remembered his training with the mage woman, her voice echoing in his mind. My lesson is magic. We have to go step by step. First, this is the basic of magic. Shining flame. Gerla. Minato's hand started to glow. More memories flooded in, this time of Hinoki. Hinoki's one-handed sword style is divided into soft sword style and strong sword style. Wave-cutting blade is a single strike to cut down your enemy. It's a strong sword style. In a brief moment during your vertical slash, forget everything about your hesitation and fear and look only at your enemy's life. Minato's left hand began to glow with a red aura, sparks flying like a faulty fireworks display. In a blink, his entire body was engulfed in bright flames. The mage woman, eyes wide as saucers, exclaimed, "Impossible!" Hinoki, ever the cheerleader, shouted, "Do it, Minato!" With the intensity of 1,000 action heroes, Minato took a sword-attacking stance, and with a cold tone, he exclaimed, "Hinokami Kagura dance!" No, wait, just kidding. What he actually said was, "Oi Bendu, let's do this." Cue the narrator's voice, smooth as silk. The original skill that Kannagi Minato utilized is called Blazing Fire Cutting Blade. The screen cut to Bandu Shijima, whose expression had gone from smug to utterly gobsmacked in record time. His body was sliced clean in half by Minato's fiery attack. Standing there, amidst the smoldering remains of his opponent, Minato looked like a true Giga-Chad, the kind of hero legends are made of. As the scene rewinds, we return to that nail-biting moment when the giant skeleton raised its massive palm, poised to squash Minato like a particularly unlucky insect. Inside Minato's mind, a calm resolve takes hold. Look at the life of your enemy. He recalls Hinoki's words echoing in his memory. Every person sees lives differently. For me, life looks like a thin thread. Cut the thread with your sword. Well then, what does life look like to you? Minato's thoughts sharpen. Bandu's life looks like a torch, a disgusting and cloudy flame. Decisively, I want to drown it in deep water. No, I need something more. I will swallow it with a raging flame. With a determined glint in his eyes, Minato unleashed his blazing fire-cutting blade. Attack. In an instant, the giant skeleton was sliced clean in half, flames licking at its bones until it crumbled to ashes. Bandu Shijima's expression morphed from smug superiority to utter gobsmacked disbelief faster than a balloon popping at a toddler's birthday party. His body, cleaved in two, teetered before collapsing. In his final moments, all he could muster was a feeble, "I'm impossible." Hinoki and the mage woman stood, jaws on the floor, eyes wide in shock. "I can't believe," Hinoki exclaimed while the mage woman stammered. "He is fusing my magic with your swordsmanship." But then, from out of nowhere, Kilik made a dramatic entrance because why not? "This is interesting," he declared with the enthusiasm of someone who just found out they won the lottery. Hinoki and the mage woman nearly jumped out of their skins at his sudden appearance. With a serious tone, Kilik continued, "He's irregular. He's able to switch and use all kinds of skills. I thought it was only a coincidence, but he actually combined two different skills into one. No, it might be even more than that." And with a laugh that suggested he knew more than he was letting on, Kalik vanished as mysteriously as he had appeared. Hinoki, shaking his head, thought, "What a weird fellow." But the mage woman's face grew serious. If what Kalik said is right, we might have underestimated Minato-kun's ability. She turned to Hinoki, her expression grave. "Is it really okay for us to keep raising him like this?" Hinoki, breaking into a sweating smile, replied, "Of course, it's fine. Don't you want to see it yourself as well? How far can he grow?" We see Minato gasping for breath, clearly running on empty after his intense battle. Bandu Shijima's severed body lay before him, but in true villain fashion, Bandu wasn't done yet. Suddenly, bubbles began to form in the pool of his blood, and with an unnerving shift, his body started regenerating. Minato gasped again, as if saying, "You've got to be kidding me." Bandu, now half reformed, began forming an energy ball in his hand, his face twisted with rage. Gwa, that was dangerous. If it had hit my head, I'd be dead already. It was close, but... With a smug grin, Bandu readied to launch his attack, exclaiming, "This is the end." But then, in a blink-and-you-miss-it moment, his head was sliced clean off. Bandu's expression shifted from triumphant to utterly gobsmacked faster than a balloon popping at a toddler's birthday party. His headless body staggered as his severed head falling managed to mumble, "Ah, I forgot that you are also here." The culprit, none other than Shinji, who had appeared out of nowhere, his blade still gleaming from the swift strike. "Camellia," he announced, clearly relishing his dramatic entrance. As Bandu's severed head tumbled, Shinji, ever the showman, used another skill to chop it into pieces mid-air. Bandu's body finally crumpled to the ground, defeated for good this time. Minato, teetering on the edge of collapse, began to fall. But before he could hit the ground, Shinji caught him in one smooth motion, like a hero straight out of a cheesy romance novel. The scene zooms in on Bandu Shijima's eye and then whisks us away to a memory from his past. We see a younger Bandu sitting on the cold ground with his sick brother, Haru, lying on his lap. "Ah, it's cold. Haru, just wait till morning. Once it's morning, your brother will get you food," he whispered, trying to offer comfort. But the lack of response from Haru sent a chill down Bandu's spine that had nothing to do with the cold. Realizing his brother might already be gone, Bandu called out in shock, "Haru!" But silence was his only answer. Suddenly, a caravan appeared in the distance. Desperate for warmth, Bandu wrapped a torn mat around himself. The caravan looked regal, the kind of procession that belonged to a king. Watching the opulence, young Bandu thought bitterly, "Why are we suffering?" Back in the present, Bandu Shijima's severed head lay on the ground, a faint smile playing on his lips as he thought, being alone is fun, but it's lonely, right? His body started to disintegrate into ashes, carried away by the wind. Shinji clenched his teeth, his heart heavy with the weight of Bandu's words. "I am not lonely, even if I am all alone," he muttered defiantly. Suddenly, the barrier around them began to collapse. Shinji's eyes widened in alarm. "Not good. This is..." He saw Shinomiya and Hanada rushing towards him and Minato. "Shinji," Shinomiya shouted, "is Kannagi okay? Is he alive?" "His life is not in danger," Shinji replied, trying to remain calm. Shinomiya's face flooded with relief. "I am glad," but Hanada, always the pragmatic one, interrupted. "I am glad that everyone is fine, but let's save that for later. The barrier is collapsing from the inside. What will happen if the energy that is emitted from the village to feed the barrier explodes?" Shinji's expression turned grim. "We would be crushed to death for sure. The moment it collapses, we have to hit it with our strongest attack to deflect it." He thought to himself, But our situation right now is... No, could we even do it? While we are not in our prime state, we don't have any choice. Just then, Minato began to glow with blue energy, and his hair turned white. He pointed his sword upwards, a transformation that left Shinji stunned. "Newbie!" he exclaimed. Minato, now possessed by Hinoki, smiled reassuringly. "You did well, Minato." With a confident grin, Hinoki declared, "I will finish it for you." Everyone readied themselves for their strongest attack. Hinoki-san, with a dramatic flair, shouted, "Hinoki's one-handed sword, style splitting cloud." Meanwhile, 3 figures were racing towards our heroes. "Captain, that is," one of them shouted. "The barrier is collapsing," another cried out. The barrier shattered with a blinding flash. One of the 3 men asked, "Are we late?" "No way," another exclaimed in disbelief. Their captain, revealed to be Makoto, the anti-prophecy unit captain and Shinji's big brother, stared in awe. "Impossible," he exclaimed. They watched as a brilliant light beam destroyed the barrier, the result of Hinoki's ultimate move, Hinoki's one-handed sword style, splitting cloud. The 3 men stood there, mouths agape. Makoto, clearly impressed, muttered, "Such a fine sword's light. Well, it doesn't have any hesitation." He thought to himself, "Who is it?" The scene shifts to Peru's airspace, where Ichihara Midori, with a smile so bright it could rival the sun, says, "The new member stopped the unknown prophecy. Yeah, that's really awesome." Meanwhile, back in Japan, Makoto, who, by the way, had just casually slain a dragon monster like it was no big deal, quips, "The highest disaster rank we've faced so far was rank 2. His tone suddenly turns serious, like he's about to drop some heavy truth. "Well, technically, I'm facing a rank 1 right now." Ichihara Midori, still lounging on a plane like he's on a vacation rather than in a life-or-death situation, chirps back, "That's amazing. While I wasn't watching over them, it looks like they've grown up." His tone is so carefree that you'd think he was talking about his plants finally blooming rather than a group of warriors facing apocalyptic threats. Makoto, clearly not in the mood for Midori's laid-back attitude, gets straight to the point. The core member who stopped the prophecy is the one who just joined us, Kannagi Minato. His voice drops an octave, all serious business now. "I know it's you who found him, but who is he?" Midori, still with that ever-present smile, drops a bombshell of his own. "He's the one who will end all of the prophecies." Makoto's usually unshakable composure falters for a moment, his voice tinged with shock. "So, you're expecting that much from him, huh?" With a grin that practically says, "I know something you don't," Midori teases. "If you're curious, why don't you meet him directly?" Makoto, ever the stoic warrior, lets out a resigned sigh, clearly not one for unnecessary social interactions. "Just hurry up and come back already. Without you around, or anyone who can be on par with me, it will be boring." Midori chuckles, the sound light and carefree. My bad. But before he can bask in his own awesomeness any longer, a voice crackles through his earbud. It's Rin calling from the airplane's cockpit. "The target is just in front of us." The playful glint in Midori's eyes fades as he looks ahead, and suddenly the atmosphere shifts from light-hearted banter to deadly seriousness. And there it is, looming in front of them like something straight out of a nightmare, a woman monster hanging in the sky, easily 100 times bigger than their plane. This isn't just any monster, no, this is the big leagues, the super rank prophecy called The Sun Has Set. And the boss monster, none other than the origin of suicidal infection Ishtam. Suddenly, the plane's interior is bathed in an ominous green light. The source, none other than Ichihara Midori, who's standing there casually holding a glowing green energy ball in his hand like it's just another Tuesday. Meanwhile, the origin of suicidal infection Ishtam, that massive, terrifying boss monster, suddenly takes notice. The glow in Midori's hand starts to intensify, becoming a beacon of raw, untamed power. His expression shifts. Gone is the easygoing smile, replaced by a look so badass it could make even the most hardened warrior think twice. With a voice dripping with cool confidence, he declares, "I will finish this thoroughly." And just like that, without a hint of hesitation, he launches his killer move, Divine Wind Turbulence. The scene shifts to the anti-prophecy infirmary room, where everything is quiet and serene, until Minato suddenly bolts upright in bed like he's just been hit by a bolt of lightning. The doctor, clearly relieved, nearly jumps out of his skin with excitement. "Oh, you're awake, Kannagi Minato-kun," he exclaims, practically beaming. Minato, still groggy and disoriented, rubs his eyes and asks, "Where am I?" He's not quite sure if he's in the land of the living or if this is some bizarre dream he's stumbled into. The doctor, ever the professional, quickly fills him in. "We're at the anti-prophecy infirmary. You've been sleeping since the end of your mission." Minato's thoughts race as he processes this. "I lost consciousness so bad that I couldn't even go into the space where the founders were." He feels a pang of frustration of all the times to be knocked out cold. The doctor, noticing that Minato seems to be in one piece, pulls back the curtain with a flourish and says, "Since you look fine, it looks like there's nothing to be worried about. Just call me if you need anything." And with that, he's off, leaving Minato alone. Or so he thinks. Minato's relief is short-lived, though, as his eyes widen in shock. Sitting there like a statue that's been waiting for centuries is Shinji, staring at him with an intensity that could probably melt steel. Minato's mind races with confusion. Is he watching over me the whole time? He wonders, trying to make sense of the situation. Trying to break the awkward silence, Minato finally asks, "Where are Hanada and Shinomiya?" Shinji, without missing a beat, replies, "They've been training since we came back. They were frustrated because they were useless." There's a sigh in his voice, heavy with the weight of unspoken thoughts. Then Shinji pauses, as if debating whether to say what's on his mind. His expression shifts, becoming serious, almost too serious for comfort. With a determined look, he asks, "Your power was overwhelming." Minato blinks, confused by the sudden shift in tone. "Excuse me." But Shinji isn't done. His face hardens, and with the weight of someone who's been pondering this for far too long, he asks, "Who the hell are you? In less than 2 days after your arrival, you've defeated a rank 3 boss and potentially a rank 1 boss. The types of your skills, the fusions. I've never known or heard anyone like that before. What the hell are you?" Minato is taken aback, his mind racing to find an answer. But before he can say anything, Shinji's frustration finally boils over. He shouts, "How can I be as strong as you?" The scene shifts abruptly as Makoto, with an air of nonchalance, moved the curtain aside and said, "Sorry for disturbing you." Both Shinji and Minato froze, their shock palpable. With a tone that brooked no nonsense, Makoto asked, "You are Kannagi Minato, right?" Minato, utterly confused, stammered, Yes," while internally he was screaming, "Who is he?" But before Minato could even begin to process the situation, Shinji blurted out, "Big brother." Makoto, however, wasn't here for a family reunion. Ignoring Shinji completely, he advanced toward Minato. Narrowing his eyes, Makoto shot a quick, dismissive glance back at Shinji, who was left standing there, looking like someone had kicked his puppy. Minato, trying to make sense of the awkward tension, cautiously said, "Hey, your brother!" But before he could finish, a devastating slash attack came hurtling toward him. The impact was so intense that Shinji instinctively stepped back, his shock mirrored in his wide eyes. But when the dust settled, Minato had disappeared from his spot. Suddenly, like a ninja caught in a very wrong situation, Minato was stuck to the ceiling behind Makoto, clinging to it like a spider. Makoto noticed, of course, because why wouldn't he? This guy probably notices when a leaf falls out of place. With a serious tone, Minato asked, "Is this some kind of test?" Makoto, ever so calm, simply replied, "Yes," though internally he was mildly impressed. A normal trainee wouldn't be able to dodge that, he thought. Then, as casually as if he were handing out a cookie, Makoto exclaimed, "You passed." Minato blinked in confusion. "Passed?" Makoto, already halfway out the door, said over his shoulder, "I am the captain of the Suo squad, Suo Makoto." Minato's brain, still trying to catch up, pinged on the fact that Makoto had just nonchalantly dropped a bombshell. "Su!" He said it was his brother, Minato thought, connecting the dots at the pace of a slow-loading web page. But Makoto wasn't done. He turned back and announced, "Kannagi Minato. After considering the result of your feats during that potentially rank 1 disaster, you will be joining my squad temporarily." Minato's jaw dropped, but before he could even react, he noticed something more shocking. Shinji. Shinji looked like he'd just been told his favorite character had been killed off. Sadness radiated off him in waves as he thought, "My brother, who was the captain of the squad, is inviting him directly? Even I am not allowed to join that squad." Makoto, oblivious to, or perhaps ignoring the emotional turmoil he'd just caused, said, "We will be starting the briefing. Follow me." Minato hesitated, glancing once more at the dejected Shinji, before quickly falling in line behind Makoto. Yes, he stammered, trying to keep up with the whirlwind that was Suo Makoto. Behind them, Shinji clenched his fists so tightly that his nails dug into his palms, drawing blood. His teeth gritted as he thought, "Kannagi Minato." His resentment simmered, mingling with the sadness of being overshadowed by his own brother. The scene shifts to the training area, where Hanada and Shinomiya were in the middle of an intense workout. Sweat dripped from their brows as they pushed themselves to the limit, but eventually they had to stop, gasping for air. Shinomiya, frustration etched on her face, exclaimed, "Shit!" Her mind replayed the memory of that moment when they had struggled to hold their ground in a battle, only for Minato to swoop in and defeat the enemy with a single effortless attack. The thought made her break into a fresh sweat, her teeth clenched in frustration. "No matter how much we do this, we won't be able to reach Kannagi," she lamented. Hanada sighed heavily beside her, sharing her frustration. The weight of being constantly outshined was starting to take its toll on both of them. Suddenly, the door to the training area swung open with a dramatic flare, and a cheerful voice broke the tense atmosphere. Hello. Both Hanada and Shinomiya jumped in shock, whipping around to see who it was. Standing in the doorway with a wide grin was none other than Ichihara Midori. "Well, you are working hard," he exclaimed, clearly oblivious to the fact that he'd nearly given them both heart attacks. With a smile that could rival the sun, he continued, "I am back. I brought you some souvenirs from Peru. Would you like some chocolate? I have a lot of rugs made from alpaca's fur." But before he could finish his sentence, Hanada and Shinomiya simultaneously shouted, "Ichihara-san!" Their voices were so loud and desperate that Ichihara Midori nearly dropped his precious chocolates and alpaca rugs in shock. The next moment, they were sprinting toward him like they'd just seen a long-lost hero. "How long will you stay in Japan?" they both asked, their eyes wide with a mix of hope and determination. Ichihara Midori, still trying to process the sudden outburst, blinked a few times before answering casually, Maybe around a week." Without missing a beat, both Hanada and Shinomiya exclaimed, "Please train us." Their faces were set with such determination that it was impossible to say no. "We don't want to lose to Kannagi," they declared in unison. Ichihara Midori was stunned. This wasn't the casual request for a bit of guidance he was expecting. No, these kids had fire in their eyes, the kind of fire that said they were ready to take on the world. He thought to himself, "These kids, I didn't expect them to have those blazing eyes. Minato-kun, your flame has reached them too." With a smile that spoke volumes of his approval, Ichihara Midori said simply, "Good." Just then, Shinji entered the training area, his presence instantly drawing attention. Ichihara Midori turned to him and asked, "How about you, Shinji?" Both Hanada and Shinomiya were caught off guard, their eyes widening in surprise as they watched Shinji calmly unwrap the bandage from his hand. With a determined look that matched theirs, he exclaimed, "I will be joining." The scene shifted once more, this time focusing on Minato as he followed Makoto. The scene shifts to the training area where Shinomiya suddenly exclaims, "Shinji?" Her voice is filled with surprise as she catches sight of him. Shinji, with a somber expression, responds, "Kannagi Minato is being scouted by my brother, the captain of the SWU squad. He's joining them as a temporary member." Both Shinomiya and Hanada are left stunned, their eyes wide with disbelief. Shinomiya's thoughts race. He's reached that far already. Meanwhile, Ichihara Midori, standing nearby, recalls a past conversation he had with Makoto. The pieces start falling into place in his mind. With a serious tone, Shinji declares, "Regardless, this happened because I'm lacking compared to Kannagi." The scene then shifts to Minato, who is walking alongside Makoto. Curious, Minato asks, "What kind of briefing is it?" Makoto, ever composed, replies, "Of course, it's about our next mission. Our departure time is tomorrow morning." Suddenly, Makoto halts and turns to Minato, his gaze sharp. "Kannagi Minato, are you close to Shinji?" Minato looks confused for a moment, trying to recall his brief interactions with Shinji. He remembers, "With Shinji-kun? I just met him less than 2 days ago, but after fighting together against Bandu, we are close, right?" After a moment of hesitation, Minato says, "He let me borrow his sword. Moreover, he was there the whole time while I wasn't conscious." With a sudden burst of enthusiasm, Minato exclaims, "Yes!" But in his mind, he adds a doubtful, "Probably." Makoto, still serious, simply responds, "I see." Meanwhile, back at the training area, Shinji mutters, "Big brother doesn't care about me at all." But on the other side of this emotional coin, Makoto is thinking, "I'm really worried about Shinji." Shinji continues, "Even just now, his gaze couldn't meet mine at all." But Makoto, in his own thoughts, reflects, "Even just now, I couldn't bear the pain of looking at his wounds." Determined, Shinji exclaims, "The only choice I have to make him look at me is to risk my life and get stronger." But Makoto, unaware of his brother's thoughts, silently pleads, "He doesn't need to be that strong. I just want him to be safe." Minato, blissfully unaware of this emotional tug-of-war, innocently comments, "You guys are really close brothers." Makoto, trying to maintain his stoic facade, replies simply, "It's given." The scene then shifts back to Shinji, who stands with a look of steely determination. "I have to surpass Kannagi and make my brother acknowledge me," he declares. In a moment of poignant irony, we see both brothers speak at the same time. Makoto, with a deep hidden affection, says, "I really care about my little brother." Meanwhile, Shinji, driven by the need for approval, exclaims, "I will definitely win against my brother in the future." Minato, caught up in the sentiment, thinks with a smile, "Such a beautiful brotherhood." The scene shifts to the training area where Shinomiya, clearly annoyed, blurts out, "Shinji never talked about himself before. But the reason he wants to be stronger is basically a brocon, right?" Hanada, his face scrunched up in confusion, asks, "Is that so?" He looks genuinely puzzled, as if the concept of someone being so driven by sibling rivalry is a bit foreign to him. With an exasperated sigh, Shinomiya elaborates, "He really has the talent to compete passionately against his big brother. When he's asked, 'Do you hate your big brother?' She recalls that moment vividly, Shinji's eyes flaring up in anger as he snapped, 'I respect him.' Back in the present, Shinomiya continues her training with renewed vigor. Her mercury spears are more intense than ever. "He just wants to get his big brother's attention," she declares, as if she's just solved the world's biggest mystery. Hanada, who's been trying to keep up with her pace, nods thoughtfully. "Ah, I see. What a touching story," he muses, clearly trying to find the silver lining in what sounds like a classic case of sibling rivalry gone wild. But then the camera pans over to Shinji, who's in the middle of training with Ichihara Midori. There's a storm of emotions swirling around Shinji, anger, frustration, determination, as he slashes through the air with his sword. But Ichihara Midori, ever the nonchalant mentor, just casually dodges each slash with the grace of someone sidestepping a puddle, all while munching on chocolates like he's at a movie theater. Hanada, now drenched in sweat from his own training and from watching Shinji's fruitless efforts, asks hesitantly, "Is it really a touching story?" His voice wavers, as if he's starting to question everything Shinomiya just said. The tension builds with the sound of the narrator's voice echoing through. "The 3 rules of the Sioux squad. First, be swift. Second, keep your offensive. Third, overcome your weakness." The narration is delivered with all the gravitas of a military drill sergeant, as if these rules were the gospel truth, handed down from on high. We zoom in on a military helicopter slicing through the skies, its blades whipping the air with a ferocity that matches the intensity of the squad inside. The camera pans to Kuriyama Takeru, a member of the Suo squad, who speaks with a level of confidence that borders on cockiness. Well, to be honest, the captain is hovering around 90% of the firepower of this squad. The rest of us, basically just extras. Since you're only a temporary member, don't worry, Captain Su finishes it in an instant. As Takeru goes on, Minato, seemingly unfazed, listens with half an ear while his fingers tap furiously on his phone. He's texting, of all things. Completely oblivious to the stares he's getting, he's got a look of concentration on his face, as if he's solving world peace. Takeru, noticing Minato's lack of attention, finally snaps, "At least put down your phone." His voice carries the frustration of a teacher whose student just won't pay attention. Minato, snapping back to reality with a jolt, stammers nervously, I'm sorry. I have to contact my friends." "Contact them?" Takeru's confusion is palpable. "Yeah, they're all asking me to message them something." Minato starts sweating, clearly overwhelmed by the barrage of texts from his friends, each demanding his attention. The scene shifts back to the training area where Hanada and Shinomiya are taking a break. Suddenly, their phones buzz, and Hanada exclaims, "Ah, it's from Minato-kun." Shinomiya checks her phone too. "Me as well. Let's see." But as she reads the message, her face twists into a mask of rage. "Ha! Who the hell do you think you are?" Hanada, reading his own message, seems more bewildered than angry. "Minato-kun, this is..." Shinji, who's been brooding nearby, suddenly explodes with anger. What the hell is he thinking? Echihara Midori, always the calm one, glances over with a curious smile. What's happening? The trio shoves their phones at him, each exclaiming in unison, "It's from Minato-kun." Midori takes the phones and starts scrolling through the messages, his eyebrows raising in mild surprise. "This is good," he finally exclaims, impressed. "These are detailed advice adjusted for 3 different people. It's at the level of saying I haven't taught you." He grins as he hands the phones back. "You've received such wonderful presents, and are you going to do it or maybe reject it?" Hanada, without missing a beat, declares, "I'm doing it." Shinomiya, is still fuming, shouts, "I'm doing it!" Shinji, now shaking with rage, screams, "I will make him regret it for sure. He's basically sending salt to his enemy." Midori chuckles softly, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Not as an enemy, but as a friend only. Meanwhile, Shinji clenches his fists, his thoughts spiraling into vengeful determination. "Prepare your head, Kannagi Minato." The intensity of his resolve is so strong that it's almost tangible. Back in the helicopter, Minato suddenly sneezes, oblivious to the brewing storm of resentment back at the training area. Takaru, still somewhat confused by Minato's earlier behavior, gestures out the window. "Kannagi, we can see it already from here." Minato, wiping the glass with a sense of anticipation, catches his first glimpse of the mission site. His eyes widen as the vast, snow-covered expanse comes into view, long, jagged ice spikes stretching toward the sky like frozen claws. The scene is nothing short of apocalyptic. The narrator's voice returns, grim and foreboding. A rank 1 prophecy. Frozen Earth. A disaster that would freeze the surface of the Earth. The scale of this disaster keeps expanding. The affected area is expected to rise exponentially. If it's left alone, the whole Earth will be frozen in the near future, and it would cause a dangerous situation. The gravity of the situation is interrupted by the introduction of Kashimana, the vice captain of the Sioux squad who drops the bombshell. This disaster is happening right now at 17 different spots around the world at the same time. In some countries, they cause so many problems by appearing in urban areas. Makoto, the ever-calm leader, speaks with the authority of someone who's been through countless battles. "This is as close as we can get with the helicopter. We are going to descend directly from the back hatch," he exclaims with a steely resolve. "Don't ever cause any damage to any human village." Then, with a fierce determination, he chants, "Chant the 3 rules of Sioux Squad. First, be swift. Second, keep your offensive. Third, overcome your weakness." As the team prepares for the descent, Minato's thoughts drift back to his fight against Bando. He reflects, at the fight against Bando, I ended up relying on Reiichiro again in the end. During this temporary enlistment, I will have a great opportunity to learn from the regular members. With a determined look, he thinks, this time for sure, I will finish my mission with my own hands. With a deep breath, Minato leaps from the helicopter, ready to face his first rank-in prophecy head-on.
Alrighty, folks, that's a wrap for today. If you had even a smidge of fun watching this, go ahead and smash that like button and drop a comment. And don't forget to subscribe. Why, you ask? Because it's free, duh. And who doesn't love free stuff? Oh, And if you're curious about what might go down if you were trapped in a tower with a bunch of randos and had to survive using some fancy cheat system, click on this. It's like reality TV, but with more drama and way fewer commercial breaks. Until next time, peace out.